Tom's here with our new racing bet builder, so you can build your perfect bet from winners to distances. You build it and we'll bring...
An uninsured driver, I won't lose my no-claim discount because insurance is simple when it's me and LV. No wonder we're rated excellent on Trustpilot. Get your quote today at lv.com. 10% of new customers paid £299 or less July to December 2025. Uninsured driver promise is non-fault accident only. Other vehicle and driver details required. LV General Insurance is part of Allianz.
McDonald's wraps, all flavour, no mess. No drips on your drip or grease on your shirt. No crumbs on your keyboard or sauce on your dashboard. Just all the flavour of sweet chilli chicken, barbecue and bacon chicken and new tikka chicken. Wrapped up neat. Served after 11 a.m. Tikka chicken wrap available until the 13th July 26. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability.
Kickoff on DAB+, online via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker. Kickoff live. There's no other word for football. Pump it up and stick it in your ear. Award-winning live football commentary. Pass, shoot, score. Football in motion. Kickoff live on TalkSport 2.
What a night of knockout European football we have ahead of us. 3 English sides in action this evening, all live across the TalkSport network. First up, it's Arsenal, who after a perfect league phase come up against Bayer Leverkusen. Chelsea are in Paris to face the holders, and Manchester City are in the Spanish capital for a date with Real Madrid. 3 tantalising ties in the round of 16 of the Champions League, and it's all live here on the TalkSport network.
These are 3 nights. Stars have come out to play again in the Champions League. Finishers, rifling effort, blasted into the net, and Manchester City have had all of this possession. It has become a rivalry that has defined the European stage over the last half a decade. Inside the penalty area, Haaland! 1-0 Manchester City, and it is a sublime goal. Kvaratskhelia has beaten him easily and fires it brilliantly past Martinez. Garnacho with him. Pedro goes alone and scores for Chelsea. And this is why we love the Champions League. Oh, this shoots right footed. What a goal! And Bodo Glimt lead Manchester City. Got his way out of his goal. Martinelli is clear. Can he round it off? He does! Full throttle, high energy, non-stop action.
A very good evening to you all. I'm Flo Pollock, alongside me, former Arsenal man Perry Groves. And there's been a lot said about Arsenal in recent weeks. People critiquing their style of play, their reliance on set pieces, the way they've managed to grind out wins. But when it comes to the Champions League, well, the Gunners have been irresistible this season. No side scored more goals in the league phase or conceded fewer. Arsenal hit 3 or more goals in their last 6 European games. And the Gunners secured stylish wins over big European sides like Bayern Munich and Inter Milan. Their opponents tonight, Leverkusen, finished 16th in the league phase and knocked out Olympiacos in their playoff game to get to this stage. So with Kickoff fast approaching, we bring you the team news then. And starting with Arsenal, Arteta gave a few of the Arsenal key men the day off on Saturday in the FA Cup, but they're all restored to the starting 11 tonight. Positive news on the injury front is that William Saliba is fit to start. The negative, no Leo Trossard in the squad. The full 11 then, David Raya in goal. Back 4 of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Nkapie facing his parent club. In Europe, you're allowed to play against your origin club when on loan. Rice and Zubimendi anchor the midfield with Eze in the 10. Forward line is Saka, Gyökeres and Arsenal's best goalscorer in the Champions League this season, Gabriel Martinelli. Kai Havertz on the bench for Arsenal, back at the club. He played for us as a boy. And alongside me then, Perry Groves, any surprises in that Arsenal lineup for you?
The only one, obviously, Martinelli coming in on the sort of left-hand side. You mentioned, obviously, Leandro Trossard is injured. Maybe, there's been a toss for coin between those two, because I think when Trossard plays, he probably gives you a little bit more control of the game. But Martinelli's got a brilliant record in the Champions League this season, and I think he gives you that energy. And what I'm hoping is, we know that Leverkusen normally try and play out from the back. They try and play through the lines. The centre halves will split. They'll push their 2 wing-backs high up the pitch. And I hope that we Arsenal are actually positive and go and try and close them down. And Martinelli is excellent at that.
As for Leverkusen, their top goal scorer this season, Patrick Schick, is back from injury. Not fit enough to start, though. They make one change from their weekend league game, which ended 3-3 with Freiburg. Palacios comes into midfield for Fernandes. Their starting 11 then in goal is Blasvic. First choice goalkeeper, former Brentford man Mark Flecken, is still out injured. Leverkusen play a back 3, and their 3 centre-halves are ex-Liverpool defender Quansah, Captain Andrich and Tapsoba, the wing-backs, Poku providing the pace, and Grimaldo, who's the Germans' main threat. Palacios and Garcia in midfield, and a front three of Terrier, young Algerian Marza and Kafane. And Perry, looking at that 11, where can Leverkusen hurt Arsenal?
Well, you just mentioned there on the left-hand side, Grimaldo is their main creator, created 23 chances in Champions League this season, 12 more than any other Leverkusen player. And you've got Marza as well. He averages the most line-breaking passes per game in the Champions League this season. They're quite fluid. You know, we say that the wing-backs, Grimaldo push high up on the left-hand side and Poku on the right-hand side, but Marza and Grimaldo actually change places quite often, you know, so it's not just a wing-back that's going to run up and down the left-hand side. He will actually come inverted, so there's going to be a really good battle on that side with Jurrien Timber. I don't want to put them opposite too much for Arsenal fans, but I think he's the best right-back in 1v1 situations. You very rarely get the better of Jurrien Timber, so I think that's going to be a key area for both teams.
Already played 41 games this season, Jurrien Timber. A lot of these Arsenal players have played a lot of games. A lot of them were given a rest on the weekend ahead of this big European tie. A lot of people starting to talk about Arsenal in the running for a quadruple. Perry Groves?
Everyone's just got to calm down. It's just game. This is the biggest game of the season, but the situation that Arsenal are in, every game now is the biggest game of the season. And Mikel Arteta was saying that there's very little wiggle room now in the Champions League. Obviously, we had the Champions League phase where Arsenal did brilliantly, won 8 out of 8, and people saying, oh, you've got, you know, quite an easy draw on your half of it. Well, the reason that Arsenal got that draw is because they won 8 out of 8 in the Champions League. So that's like saying to an Olympic 100-metre butterfly swimmer, by the way, you're really lucky that you've got drawn on lane 4 and 5. Because it's on one-way heats. That's exactly the reason why I'm in the middle of the race. So, and Arsenal have got to capitalise on that.
Let's hear now then from Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. They remain in full competition ahead of this game, though, who's asked if the players are talking about a possible quadruple at all in the dressing room.
No, I don't use that phrase, don't talk about it. I don't know why they talk about it when I'm not there, but we all know the difficulty of every competition. Let's start tomorrow. We are changing from competition to competition every 3 days, and so far we've done so well, and we need to continue to do that.
Arteta, never a man to be drawn into saying something which could be a newsworthy hit.
Was that a slap down? No, don't be daft. Stupid question, move on.
Atmosphere building here then in Germany. German football, German stadiums have a real atmosphere, they really do. The fans behind one of the big goals with loads of flags, all in the black and red of Leverkusen. And time now for an odds update then ahead of this game with William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Dave Kellner joins us to bring us the latest odds ahead of kickoff. What's the latest, Dave?
Arsenal very, very well supported, as you would imagine, for this game. They're 1-2 to go to Germany and winning by Leverkusen. They're 24-5 in the betting, with the draw in the betting at 16-5. We have, at William Hill, epic boosts on all 4 Champions League matches tonight, and the epic in this one proving very popular. 8-13 or 8-13 boosted to even money for Arsenal to score in the first half. So if you fancy the Gunners tonight, that's available on the app and at williamhill.com. Arsenal to score in the first half was 8-13, is being boosted to even money. One of the other price boosts that's proving very popular is Arsenal to win and both teams to score, which has been enhanced from 2-1 out to 5-2. And if you're looking at the goal scorer markets, a couple of interesting tidbits ahead of this game. Gyökeres is the most popular first goal scorer bet at 15-4. He's 5-4 to score anytime. But also, punters are really latching on to Gabriel to score anytime, with Arsenal obviously so threatening from set pieces. He's 5-1 to score anytime. But the most popular bets, Arsenal 1-2 in the 90 minutes market. That's epic boost available at williamhill.com and on the app. Arsenal to score in the first half at even money. And also look at Arsenal to win and both teams to score, which has been boosted from 2-1 out to 5-2. Kickoff at 5:45. Arsenal 1-2 to beat Leverkusen.
That was an odds update, all thanks to William Hill. You can get 2 epic boosts every day of the Cheltenham Festival, singles only. T's and C's apply. 18+, gambleaware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org. You're
listening to the Champions League live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, whatever it is. They are here for it. So the players still in the tunnel, waiting for them to emerge. It's been pouring with rain ahead of kickoff, so the pitch will be slick. Let's hope the players have got the right boots on, Terry.
Not like roller skates of a certain team yesterday evening, where I found it incredible. In these day and age, if you go into the minute detail of the preparation, that the Spurs players kept falling over. Obviously it was raining obviously in Madrid, and the pitch is going to be slippery, and Van der Ven fell over, then Kinski obviously fell over for one of the goals. So you just hope that the Arsenal players have got their long aluminium studs in tonight.
Yep, some remarkable games yesterday. None of the English sides won yesterday. Liverpool lost to Galatasaray. Newcastle denied a win against Barcelona with a late penalty, and Tottenham of course lost as well to Atletico Madrid. Arsenal, the first English team kicking off tonight. Can they get a win? And of course later on the TalkSport network we have full live coverage at 8 p.m. on TalkSport, Real Madrid against Manchester City, and straight after us on TalkSport 2 here, Paris Saint-Germain up against Chelsea. So Arsenal on a perfect league phase, 8 wins from 8. They played with swagger and fluidity. It hasn't always been present this season in the Premier League. Into the knockout rounds now. Can they continue playing like this in Europe?
I think what happens is, well, Flo, in Europe, that teams tend not to be defensive, they tend not to sit deep, and they tend to be a little bit robust. I think you saw the 6 English teams qualify, for the round of 16, because they find it a little bit easier to play in Europe. Be interesting to see, because Leverkusen are just like a box of chocolates. You never know what Leverkusen are going to get. Is it going to be the Leverkusen lost 7-2 at home against PSG, or Leverkusen that went to Etihad and won 2-0? So it's going to be a game with a lot of jeopardy.
Both sets of players are now out on the pitch here in this evening in Germany, a packed out stadium in the Bay Arena. Leverkusen domestically are sick. They're decent at home with only 1 goal conceded in their last 7 home games. They are not the Leverkusen of a few years ago against Xabi Alonso, but under Kasper Hüllmann they are still capable of causing Arsenal plenty of problems.
I think they're better than what they are under Erik ten Hag, to be fair. Would he last 3 games? It was one of the shortest stints ever as a manager.
Indeed, 2 league games and 1 domestic cup, but the ship has been steadied as Mikel Arteta shakes hands with the Danish manager ahead of this game. First leg of the knockout rounds then, the round of 16. Arsenal away here in the Bay Arena up against Leverkusen. In terms of this Leverkusen lineup, I heard some people talking about perhaps they're going to sit deep. It's not really how they play though, and it would be a change for them. They play with a back three, they're quite expansive, they like to have possession.
Yep, very much so. It'd be very difficult. We've talked about it before the kickoff, wasn't we, Flo, that it's very difficult to flick a switch. We're used to being expansive and playing out for the back, all of a sudden saying, right, we're going to let you have possession and we're going to sit deep. But whatever way they play, this is about Arsenal. It's about the way that Arsenal approach the game. If they approach the game the way they did against Tottenham Hotspur at their stadium and went on the front foot, didn't matter what the score was, then you'd expect Arsenal to win. But if they don't, and you give Leverkusen the space to play, they've got players that can hurt you.
The 2 captains are shaking hands. Bukayo Saka wearing the armband for Arsenal today, and the big centre-back Andrich for Leverkusen. Our referee for today is Turkish, Umut Meler, and on VAR we've got Rob Dieperink of the Netherlands as the 2 captains chat to the referees ahead of kickoff. So important Arsenal start well. In fact, they actually haven't been behind yet this season in the Champions League, so how they get on, who scores the first goal was so important.
Very much so. I think it's 62% where they've been in front, 38% where it's been level, and I hope we're not putting the mockers on it, Flo, because we don't want the commentators curse that they can see the goal in the first minute.
Kick-off fast approaching now, cold evening, rain coming down, big atmosphere in the Bay Arena. Arsenal all in a huddle. David Raya with his arms round key men as they go in. There was a big team talk ahead of kick around 5-10 minutes before the players came out. Gabriel Heinze got all the players in and gave a really stirring team talk. There's been a lot said about Gabriel Heinze and the grit he's brought to Arsenal this year and the coaching staff.
I think he's the there's a bad cop, which is Mikel Arteta, and a bad cop, which is Gabriel Heinze, because apparently, and players like that, he's no nonsense. He tells you exactly how it is. But I think as well, what happens with this group of Arsenal players and coaching staff, they look after the human being really well, not just the footballer. It's how you are off the pitch, you know, and how you're feeling in yourself. So I think there's a lot of that goes on in this group. So just had a little huddle there, just remind each other of their jobs and, you know, what it's about and the focus that they have to implement as soon as they kick off.
It is Arsenal who will be kicking off. Declan Rice pulled back for push by Saka. Free kick for Leverkusen, but quick start from Arsenal.
Yeah, very much so. Obviously David Raya just making sure that he's putting that inside right channel. Gyökeres won the first aerial challenge, dropped to Bukayo Saka, but just a little nudge in the back. To be fair, Umut Miller, the referee, absolutely correct, gives a free kick.
Arsenal shooting towards the goal with the big clutch of Leverkusen ultras behind with their big red and black flags now as Leverkusen have the ball. Arsenal in the home strip, the red strip. It's the first leg of the round of 16 here in Germany. Can Arsenal continue their perfect European form as Saka shrugs off a challenge over the halfway and plays it back in field to Declan Rice.
Really good hold-up play from Victor Gyökeres initially when the ball's rolled into him. Andrich, the Bayer Leverkusen captain, just followed him in, tried to knock him off balance. He held it up. That's what you have to do when you're playing up front on your own. You have to make sure you engage the two centre-halves.
Eze in possession now, just takes the ball back into his own half. Square to Rice. If you're just joining us, let me give you the starting 11s as well then. For Arsenal in goal, David Raya, the usual back four, Hincapié against his parent club, Gabriel Saliba and Timber, Rice, Zubimendi and Eze, the midfield three, the front three, Saka, Gyökeres and Martinelli, as Timber's on the ball in the right back position, plays it up to Saka, who tries to go past Tapsoba and wins the throw in for Arsenal.
Yeah, just seeing that Leverkusen as well, we thought, no, there was rumours.
Oh, an interesting moment there. Ball into Gyökeres. He span Andrich, and Andrich pulled him down. Free kick for Arsenal. Yellow card for the Leverkusen centre-back. Free kick in a very good position, and not what you want as a centre-back to a yellow card straight away.
Well, I mentioned the first contact that both had. Gyökeres come up top. That's the second one, just a throw in from Bukayo Saka in to Gyökeres. He actually pins Andrich, just make sure that he can't get goal side, the other side of him, and he just spins him to his right hand side. Andrich has a massive panic up, just pulls him to the floor. Referee quite rightly gets the yellow card out, so Andrich is under massive pressure now, getting a yellow card in the first 2.5 minutes.
Really good hold-up play from Victor Gyökeres. Arsenal then with a free kick. It's a little bit wide on the right to perhaps go for goal. Looks like it's going to be whipped in. Declan Rice is chatting with Gabriel and Saka. I think Gabriel will probably go in the box and be one of the targets.
What makes me laugh is when they put their hands over their mouth. So no, is there a lip reader then in that 30,000 and say, actually, I know exactly what he said and where he's going to put it now?
Arsenal scored some brilliant free kicks in last season's Champions League. Of course, Declan Rice with 2 against Real Madrid. He won't be taking it though. It's Bukayo Saka who is standing over this free kick, edge of the box from the right. He raises one hand and whips it into the danger area, and it goes through everyone and behind for a goal kick. Referee waiting to make the decision. He's given a goal kick. Still Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0 then.
It's a really clever free kick actually with Bukayo Saka. All he's doing is just making sure that he's drilling it just around about the penalty spot, hoping for a little touch. I think the referee just had a massive gamble. He had no clue. That got a little deflection off. In the end, he ends up giving the goal kick. Good start from Arsenal on the front foot. The passing's been very sharp. So Gyökeres has looked really sharp. He's got obviously Andrich now in his pocket because he's got a booking. So if you was Gyökeres, you'd be saying to your Arsenal, if it's Eze or something, just get the ball into me. Just keep getting it into me.
Long ball up for Leverkusen for Kafane, who's up against Saliba. Loses out though the physical battle, one back by Saliba, who finds Zubimendi. His forward pass was a poor one, cut out, and here is Leverkusen. Again, William Saliba is there to clear things up for Arsenal. In terms of the starting 11 for Leverkusen, let me just give you that as well. It's Blaskovic in goal, back three, Quansah, Andrich, Tapsoba, the wing-backs, Poku, Grimaldo, Garcia and Palacios in midfield, Terrier, Kafane and Marza up front, and another free kick won by Gyökeres against Andrich.
He's got one more. Andrich has got one more because Gyökeres again does brilliantly on the left-hand side, just gets the ball, flicks it with the outside of his right foot around Andrich, goes to just skip around him. Andrich just changes his course of his direction and it goes across him. Quite rightly, the referee's given no free kick. I think he's saying to Andrich, you've got to calm yourself down. That's 2 fouls in the first 4.5 minutes.
Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Approaching the 5th minute mark here in the Bay Arena then, round of 16. Arsenal with a free kick. Rice this time to whip it in from the left, now by the throw-in line. Martinelli had gone short. Instead he plays it to Eberechi Eze. He then went for the return pass that wasn't on the same wavelength though as Declan Rice, and now he goes for a goal kick.
Lucas Jorvet, the set-piece coach, will be absolutely apoplectic on the touchline. He's like, why you take a short free kick from the left-hand side, Declan Rice, just play to percentages and whip the ball into the 18-yard box and make them make a decision.
Towards in play here as Kafane is down on the halfway line. He's motioning to the referee that he's been elbowed in the face after a bit of contact with Gabriel. Martinelli helps him back up to his feet, and the referee is going to give a free kick to Kafane for that.
The referee must have had an owl's head then if he's seen that, because that was actually behind him in the centre circle. At first, it looked like just coming together with Kafane and Gabriel.
0-0. Leverkusen in possession. Quansah, former Liverpool man, out to Poku. He's now back with the captain Andrich, who's made 2 fouls already on 1 yellow card. Leverkusen work it out well to the right-hand side, and Capio wins the header though, and it's then fired forward to Eze, who's just trying to juggle it over the halfway line. He's dispossession. Now it's back with Leverkusen's Palacios. Drifts in field, the one change from the game at the weekend. They drew 3-3 with Freiburg, so goals can be found against Leverkusen.
Yeah, just see Leverkusen just trying to settle the game down a little bit. Garcia just trying to get himself on the ball, so he's normally their sort of playmaker, gets them ticking over.
Nice interchanges of passes down that left-hand side for Leverkusen. As it's slid in to Terrier. Kafane now edge of the box, goes for goal, straight at David Raya, who catches it comfortably and then quickly. The minute he gets it, he's always looking around frantically for the out ball, holds on to it though, so there's no option, and then rolls it to Rice.
Yeah, good build-up play down the left-hand side from Leverkusen. Coming to Kafane, just drops a little bit deep on the edge of the D. Arsenal back off, gets a really good shot away. Fortunately for Arsenal, it's straight down the throat of David Raya.
Palacios in possession for Leverkusen in the centre of the pitch. Now with Grimaldo, who is their man this season, approaching 100 appearances in various UEFA competitions as Marza takes it on the half-turn. One back well though by Timber. Now Eze's here. A little bit of a trick to get past his marker, played into Martinelli, who flicks it forward straight into the path of Saka. Bukayo Saka now on the right-hand side, driving into the penalty area, cuts across. And there is another defender in the form of Garcia to block his run. Leverkusen nick it back.
Yeah, Garcia did really well there. Defensive duties for Leverkusen. Saka in a 1v1 situation, tries to cut inside, and Garcia makes sure that he's the next player. Then Saka just runs into Garcia, and that enables Leverkusen to recycle possession.
8 minutes played. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0 in this first leg of Champions League here on TalkSport 2. Entertaining opening 8 minutes so far. A couple of half chances for Arsenal from free kicks, and a shot from Leverkusen's Kafane straight at David Raya in terms of the home side's chances. Timber fires it forward off a black shirt and out for a throw-in on the halfway line.
Yeah, just like Leverkusen as well, when they're in possession, they don't just stay in their positions. Look at Terrier there, who's obviously one of the 2 players behind Kafane. When it was over on the left-hand side, he basically comes and plays as a 10 as well. So, you know, they're trying to overload that sort of central area. So Arsenal just got to be aware of that.
As they're getting plenty of touches on the ball early on, which is what Arsenal fans will want to see, him controlling the tempo, getting on the ball in those half spaces. As Arsenal's big Brazilian Gabriel, the ball under his foot, plays it in field to Martin Zubamendi. Played most minutes for Arsenal of any outfield player in all competitions this season, more than 40 games already. Arsenal, of course, still going in all 4 competitions. Takes up a lot of energy, time, mental strength. Arsenal still just passing it around the back.
Yeah, just looking at Leverkusen, when they're out of possession, they go into like a back four. Konza comes out and plays in the right back position, with Poku just basically as the right winger. So they're virtually going like a 4-3-3 out of possession. Again, I think just trying to crowd out that central area.
Arsenal patient in their approach, but then up it goes to Gyökeres, who chests it back into the path of Rice. Saka's gone running down the right-hand side. Rice turns back and away, though, plays it in field to Zubimendi, who helps it all the way back to William Saliba, back in the squad after missing the last two with an ankle injury. Loud sound from the Leverkusen fans here in Germany. It's a brilliant atmosphere on this European night. Martinelli now on the left, plays it back in field to Gabriel. Leverkusen have all dropped behind the ball in a deep block as Arsenal try and pick them apart, playing it from left to right. Now it's with Yuri and Timber. Back into Rice. Zubimendi finds Nkapie. Martinelli now up against Poku. Poku engages him and draws him away from the Leverkusen goal. 10 minutes played. Arsenal 0, Leverkusen 0.
As you said there, Leverkusen, every outfield player basically behind the ball, even Kafane dropping really deep.
Saka now running at Grimaldo, beats him, gets the ball across, can only find a black shirt though. Palacios clears, but Saka against Grimaldo, they seem to go past him with ease.
Yeah, just need a little bit better quality there from Bukayo Saka, going on the outside and taps over. Just getting to the byline, maybe just needs to dink it up to the far post. Really good defensive play again from Leverkusen midfield. Palacios who's getting that near post, cutting out the danger.
Leverkusen have their top goal scorer starting tonight. Patrick Schick is on the bench. Fofana is the man up front for them instead, but I suspect we might see Schick at some point, either later today or in the next leg, of course, at the Emirates next week.
Well, let's hope that Schick doesn't have any good times when he comes on.
He's a real menace in the box, a beast of a man, massive in terms of whipping the ball in, but of course Arsenal have William Saliba and Gabriel at the back, so they know how to handle a physical forward. This is a throw-in for Leverkusen, headed back into Arsenal possession by Saka. Timber now hooks the ball forward as there's a tiny passage of play, neither team able to get the ball under control as it reverberates and bounces off Eze's shin. Still Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0, 12 minutes played here in Germany. Martinelli on the ball now. Up to Nkapie, who's 5 yard, got my yards wrong here. 5 or 10 yards in to the Leverkusen half. Again,
they didn't say metres, Flo. As long as you just keep it to yards, don't go metres. That really, my generation, that really confuses me.
That's why I find it so hard. They don't actually know how big a yard is. So here comes Saka driving in field now. Square to Eze, cut out before it could reach him. And Leverkusen will now try and catch Arsenal on the break. Kafane hassling Gabriel. Done really well there, Kafane, but two Arsenal players come back in the form of Zubimendi and Rice to smuggle it back to Raya.
Yeah, Gabriel got away run there, got his feet all tangled up. Kafane looked like he was away, and then you had the Springer Spaniel, Declan Rice, who just bounces about everywhere, just making sure that he gets back and tidies up the danger. But just a little warning there, obviously, for Gabriel and Saliba, because Kafane has got physicality, he has got pace as well. So it's just about their concentration levels.
You're listening to Bayer Leverkusen, Arsenal in the Champions League. It's 0-0 live here on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, whatever it is, they are here for it. The game has settled into a pattern now, hasn't it? Arsenal with possession and Leverkusen sitting a little deep. I mean, you spoke a moment ago, Perry, about the formation of Leverkusen. It does look like they have a back three, back five, but they are also just kind of shifting into that back four at times.
Out of possession they go into like a 4-4-2. Terrier goes.
Siosu went lunging in at Gabriel Martinelli, the Brazilian down holding his ankle, and Palacios gives away the free kick.
It's unlucky actually Palacios, because as he's come sliding in, he actually takes the ball first, and it's just his follow through. There's no intent there whatsoever. You can tell that, you know, he's a little bit peeved, shall we say, with the referee. But I think in the modern game it's because the referee might say you're just a little bit out of control. But I thought Palacios obviously won the ball.
Timber misses the ball there, and here's Ibrahim Marza racing over the halfway line for Leverkusen, driving towards Saliba, slides it into Kafane in the penalty area. back to Marza, who unleashes a shot but didn't quite get his angles right, and it's over and wide.
Yeah, nice little link-up play again. Down Leverkusen's left-hand side. Marza just in a lot of space. Just carries the ball a good 40-50 yards. Plays it into Kafane. Kafane then holds it up, rolls it back to him. And what Marza has to do, he just has to sort of slow his run down a bit. He carried on at full pace, and because then he got on top of the ball too quickly, ends up skying over the crossbar.
Quarter of an hour played, Leverkusen nil, Arsenal nil. Arsenal with 64% possession so far, but actually Leverkusen who've had the more interesting opportunities, shall we say. Declan Rice now on the edge of his own penalty area, carrying it forward. Black shirts retreating as he strides towards them. 5-yard pass to Eze. Eze then looking for the run of Gyökeres. That's cut out by Andrich, the captain for Leverkusen, the centre-back already on a yellow card, remember?
It was the right idea from Rich Eze there, just trying to roll it into Gyökeres. Just missed him by about a yard. But that's what you need when you're playing that 10 position. That's what Eze has to do. He has to look forward. Even if you pass it forward like Zubimendi does when he links it up, even if you pass it forward 10-15 yards and try and break those lines.
No, Martin Ødegaard still in the Arsenal squad. As Zubimendi heads it on to Gyökeres. The return header though is one back. And here's Leverkusen with their danger man Grimaldo over the halfway line, looking for options. Trots forward, Arsenal happy to drop back, and then it's lifted into the penalty area, but straight into the grateful gloves of David Raya. He then bowls it out to Declan Rice, strutting forward. Eze in the centre circle now, out to Jurrien Timber, who's got a bit of space and time. He's got Saka to his right. Ball out to wasn't a good one. Saka as well though to get up the ball in. Poku with the headed clearance. Eze on the edge of the box wins his header, and then Poku with another clearance, not a good one though, and it rolls out, and Leverkusen do manage to clear on that second attempt. Arsenal still in possession just inside Leverkusen's half.
Yeah, just a little bit scruffy there from Jurrien Timber. Really good play, Rice into Eze, then out to Timber on that right hand side. He just needs to roll into Bukayo Saka, just a little sort of lazy flick to the outside of his right foot.
As Martinelli puts the ball in, and it's headed out by Andrich, out for an Arsenal throw-in on this near side. Arsenal shooting from right to left here, where we look on the Bay Arena. Hincapié over to take this against his former club, or his current club. He's actually on loan, of course, but with an obligation to buy. It looks pretty much like Arsenal will do that. That's just a matter of the course. Throws the throw-in into Gyökeres. Back to Hincapié now. Still has the ball, the Ecuadorian. His forward pass knocks off Gyökeres, and now will be carried out by Garcia. Leverkusen in possession. Still 0-0 here on TalkSport 2. The early game in the Champions League as Leverkusen try and play out from the back, all a little bit scary from a Leverkusen perspective as Arsenal were pressing, but they do manage to work it out with Andrich as well as Palacios.
I don't think Palacios would be too pleased with his captain Andrich giving him the ball there when he was actually marked by Zubimendi, but to be fair to Palacios, he did really, really well, kept possession.
Leverkusen moving it well through the thirds here. Out it goes to Poku, out on the right hand side, up against his former teammate, fired in by Quansah, and Raya is there to catch that. He'll bowl it out quickly to Arsenal's captain, Bukayo Saka. And now Leverkusen are a little bit out of shape. Saka will run at his man. Lovely little reverse pass to Timber, who's been running down the right-hand side. Timber into Eze in the penalty area. He leaves it. Now it's at the feet of Gabriel Martinelli off the crossbar. Back to Saka. Poor touch. Taps over, clears. Best chance so far of the game for Arsenal. Martinelli firing the ball off the crossbar.
Yeah, brilliant attacking play down the right-hand side. Jurrien Timber rolling into Saka. Saka over, and another Eze over there as well. Then Gyökeres lets it go to Martinelli. Martinelli gets it onto his left foot, gets it out of his feet, puts his foot through it, smash it against the crossbar. Ball comes back out. Bukayo Saka can't quite get himself on the end of it.
Welcome to listeners from TalkSport. We've played 19 minutes. Bayer Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. As you will have just heard just then from Terry Groves, Arsenal just had their best opportunity of the half. Really well worked move down the right hand side. Ball came to Martinelli in the box, and he fired it goalwards, hit the crossbar. Saka couldn't follow up with his effort. Leverkusen with a couple of chances themselves so far. And Perry Groves, your take on the start of the game so far?
Arsenal started really well the first 10 minutes, got the ball into Victor Gyökeres nice and early. Andrich, the Leverkusen captain, got himself a booking after the first 2 minutes. So Gyökeres needs to demand the ball a little bit more. The game was actually a lot more open flow than what I thought it would be. And Leverkusen have been very dangerous in the transition with Kafane up front, having that one shot on target straight at David Raya.
Coverage continues here on TalkSport 2, but for now it's Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Here is Jarrell Quansah. Here's the ball infield to Garcia. Arsenal's turn to drop back, and as you just said, Perry, it's quite an open game actually.
Yeah, it's just an interesting shape, we said, from Leverkusen, when they're out of possession with the 4-4-2 that they go into, sort of I think the modern day terminology is a mid-block.
As Kafane jumps out and wins the ball ahead of Gabriel, still going here, Christian Kafane gets it onto his right foot for the shot, blocked. Back to Quansah, he'll hit it with his left, straight at the chest of Gabriel. In fact, it's the face of Gabriel, and the referee pauses play to check that the big Brazilian's okay after that. I think it did actually hit him in the chest, but still, looks like it's really winded him.
Well, to be fair, Gabriel says to the referee, just give me a little more time, because as he just goes down, hits him sort of on the chin and in the throat, and that's because he gave the ball away actually earlier against Kafane, so he got him and himself out of trouble.
That Arsenal opportunity. Gabriel Martinelli's been so prolific for Arsenal this season in the Champions League. He's got 6 goals already, 11 in all competitions. He's not in great scoring form at the moment, just 1 goal in his last 10 in all competitions, that in the FA Cup against Wigan, and he came very close to getting a goal there just a moment ago.
Yeah, he did, but you have to say, really should be scoring, because he smashed the ball against a crossbar. He should be actually putting the ball back across Blažević down to his left-hand side. Obviously, Mikel Arteta, Arsenal manager, was very frustrated. A brilliant move down that right-hand side. Started from Duran Timber, a couple of overs from Saka and Eze into Gyökeres, just then pass it on to Martinelli. Just that little break in play now so that Gabriel can get some treatment.
This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Martinelli's gone and got some caffeine pouches to bring onto the pitch to give energy to his side as Gabriel is back up on his feet. And a reminder, of course, that we've got more Champions League action later tonight on TalkSport. 8 p.m. Real Madrid against Manchester City, and after us on TalkSport 2 tonight we've got Paris Saint-Germain versus Chelsea. Loads of European action tomorrow as well on TalkSport 2. 5:45 it's Lille Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace also in action in their various European competitions. 8 p.m. on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 for both of those games.
So all these modern day algorithms, logarithm stats, does that go down as a shot on target there from Quansah? Because it's going on target and it's hit Gabriel straight in the chin.
That's a really good question. I don't know. I don't think it does, because it hit the defender.
Means that the goalkeeper has to make a save.
Yeah, exactly. Gabriel's back up on his feet then, and Arsenal back underway. It's poorly given away by Nkapie, and forward comes Poku. Really good tracking back though by Martin Zubamendi. Was given a break the weekend in the FA Cup. Couldn't play. Well worked out by Arsenal on his right hand side. Here's Urian Timber's socks slung low over the halfway line. Checks his pace though and goes back to Declan Rice, who chips the ball out towards the left hand side looking for Martinelli. It's headed away by Poku, met instead by Nkapie. Here's Martinelli now. 2 black shirts around. Does well to just shrug them off actually, Martinelli. Now he's driving towards the penalty area. Nice little 1-2 with Gyökeres. Breaks for Nkapie in the area, and his strike straight down the throat of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think Leverkusen were looking for the foul, but actually 2 players just collided with each other. Again, I think Martinelli, maybe as he cuts inside, he can just roll it into Eze a little bit quicker, tries to play a little 1-2 with Gyökeres, and comes back to Nkapie, gets his right foot shot away, straight down the throat of Blažević.
Midway in this first half, Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Saliba penalised for foul on the halfway line as he hauled down Christian Kafane. The 19-year-old forward's done well so far up against the 2 Arsenal centre-halves.
Yeah, very much so. I think what happens sometimes with Saliba and Kafane, they try and win the ball a bit too early. So you see there, Saliba's got his grasping the back of his Kafane shirt. Kafane obviously then gets pulled to the ground quite rightly. The referee gives the free kick, and I think he says to Saliba, you've got 1 more.
He's in good form actually, the Cameroonian forward. Kafane, 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 3 in the Bundesliga. Starting tonight with Patrick Schick on the bench, still not back from his injury. Arsenal looking to press Leverkusen in their own half. Taps over up to Grimaldo, back it comes in field to Garcia now. Looks for options. Arsenal doing a high press, 25 minutes play. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. One intercepted by Declan Rice. Back to Timber.
It was a clever press there from Arsenal because they let Tapsoba just have the ball, let the centre-halves have it. And in the end, he had a bit of a panic up, tried to play it forward, just played it straight to Declan Rice. Arsenal can then sort of regain possession, but they've kept possession, but gone back to David Raya.
Now here's Eberechieze with a bit of space in midfield in the centre circle. Slides it into Martinelli. Andrich comes out to put the pressure on, and Martinelli loses the ball, pulls back the shirt of Palacios and gets a yellow card for that action.
Yeah, too many touches there from Martinelli, just get the ball stuck under his feet. Just obviously he was rolled in from Eberechieze. I think Eze just wanted it back straight away. Took 3 or 4 touches, surrounded by 3 Leverkusen players. Quite rightly, the referee gives a yellow card to Martinelli.
So both sides with a player on a yellow then. Andrich, the captain, the centre-half for Leverkusen, and Gabriel Martinelli for Arsenal. Martinelli starting tonight. No Leandro Trossard in the squad, he's still not fit. Kai Havertz, though, is on the bench. He might come on against his boyhood club at some point. Arsenal have missed him so much this season. He's not really featured much at all, particularly in the Premier League. There's still goalless here in the Bay Arena. Arsenal in possession with their 2 centre-halves. And so much discussion always, Perry, about Arsenal set pieces. I don't think Arsenal have had a corner yet.
No. They had a free kick out on this left-hand side where Declan Rice tried to be too clever, didn't he? They played a little short free kick that should have been whipping in. Apart from that, no, they haven't had a corner to be able to test Leverkusen. But just looking at Arsenal as well, like in possession, they look very comfortable, but I just again like to see them go forward just a little bit quicker into Gyökeres, and it's all very sort of sideways at the moment, where you've got Bukayo Saka wide on the right, Martinelli comes wide on the left, Gyökeres, neither of those 3 are spinning in behind, because as I said, it's sort of mid-block when Leverkusen go into their sort of flat back 4.
Declan Rice relentless in the press there on Garcia, absolutely chased him down, ran him down, gave away the free kick in the end, and then stood over him and screamed at him. Just such a dominating player in the midfield, isn't he?
Well, I think all is obviously Garcia does really well because he spins away from Declan Rice and he's sort of falling over anyway. Rice just tried to get the ball with his right foot across him. He's virtually said to Garcia, "Get up, mate." Do you know what I mean? Unless there's a mole just popped up, what are you falling over for?
Garcia also put his hand out thinking that Rice was going to help him up, but the Englishman just left him on the turf.
Yep.
28 minutes played then. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. The best chance so far for Arsenal. Martinelli striking the upright. A couple of shots from Leverkusen. Not really tested David Raya as of yet. As Tapsoba, the centre-half for Leverkusen, has the ball. Lovely direct ball out to Kafane. Now it's Grimaldo on this left-hand side. Waits for the overlapping run from Garcia. Those 2 exchange passes, looking for Marzo. It's cut out by Saliba, and then a wonderful little spin and turn from Jurrien Timber. He's so excellent on the ball. He finds Bukayo Saka now.
There was this run there. Bukayo Saka had the ball on the right-hand side. Gyökeres makes a brilliant run in the right-hand channel. Bukayo Saka's not even looking for it, so Gyökeres should be more dominant now and say, next time you get it, you make sure you put it down the touchline. Saka comes inside, and they transfer it to this left-hand side to Martinelli.
And now all the Leverkusen players are back. Plenty of black shirts in the penalty area as Eze and Saka combine on the edge of the box. They're dispossessed though, and then forward come Leverkusen. Good ball in behind. Gabriel steps on the ball. Kafane will now have it. It's back to goal though, away from goal. He plays it back into Palacios, wants the free kick. Ref plays advantage, rightly so. It's been well refereed so far this game. Approaching.
He's tried to let it float, to be fair, hasn't he, Flo? Too many floats in there.
Never heard that one before, have I? Approaching the half-hour mark, Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. You're listening to Bayer Leverkusen Arsenal Champions League live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book it now at enterprise.co.uk. So far, pretty good contest between two teams that are trying to play football.
Yeah, both teams being positive when they're in possession, looking to go forward. I think Arsenal, when they've had possession, they've tried to go through central a little bit too much. You've got a little bit too tight, a little bit too congested, playing little sort of 1-2s with Saka and Eze.
Here comes Palacios driving central into Kafane, cut out by a brilliant sliding challenge from Declan Rice. Back though with Kafane, pokes it out to Poku, corner of the penalty area. And here is Poku again, cuts back to Palacios, that's whipped in, and it might have actually been a strike. Raya watched it all the way there and let it go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think good build-up play down the right-hand side from Poku. Just then rolls it back to Garcia. Garcia then just whipped the ball in. I think he got caught sort of in between. And in the end, David Raya just watched it go over his right shoulder. Should you be whipping it in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot, you know, to make the Arsenal centre-halves have to make a decision.
Let's not try and work it out though, but they give it up straight away. Quansah now plays it forward. Gabriel wins it, but it bounces awkwardly off Nkapie. Here's Kafane now in the penalty area. Nkapie steers him away from goal. Back he goes to Quansah. Martinelli doing his tracking back duties. He's so good at that. Gabriel Martinelli. That's with Palacios. Garcia. Quansah. Now it's Leverkusen's turn to shift the ball from right out to left to Grimaldo, looking for those gaps in the Arsenal defence. Andrich fires it forward. Marta tries to flick it on, but it's won back by Saliba, who looks to go long and try and pick out the run of Gyökeres. Cut out there well by Andrich.
That was better from William Saliba. At least he was looking for the run of Gyökeres because he was 1v1 with Andrich. All that Saliba's got to do is just feed it into the space.
Big challenge from Gabriel. Referee though motioning to Terrier, the Frenchman, that the ball was won, and the referee's now going to stop play. In fact, Declan Rice will kick it out of touch so that he can get a bit of physio. Gabriel comes over to, I'm not sure if Cheki's all right, maybe just tell him to get up.
Well, I think what it was, obviously Terrier's come in the blind side there of Gabriel. Gabriel just swung at the ball, taking the ball. It's more like a block tackle. So I think, no, just like a little coming together. Quite rightly, the referee, as you said, has refereed this game really well. Just says no, just a natural coming together. Terrier, as the want of the modern day player, stays on the floor because obviously they just want to quell the game and take this thing out of the game because Arsenal have possession. And sometimes I think players are a little bit too nice because Arsenal knew that Terrier wasn't hurt, it wasn't a head injury. So then they should play on and make the referee make the decision whether he's going to stop the game or not.
A couple of the Arsenal players going over to Mikel Arteta, dressed in all black with his jet black hair, such an intense look on his face, prowling around his touchline, and Arsenal are given the ball back from Leverkusen after they kicked it out, and it's sent all the way back now to David Raya. This is actually the first time Arsenal have been here in the Bay Arena in over 24 years. We faced each other twice, these sides, in the Champions League. That was back in the 2002 group stages. Arsenal drew here in Germany 1-1, goal from Robert Pires, and then back at Highbury they won 4-1, goals from Pires, Vieira, Henry and Bergkamp. That's 4 pretty decent goal scorers, isn't it?
Well, Arsenal haven't got a particularly good record of that in the knockout stage against German teams. At 5 knockout ties, lost 5 times. To be fair, it was all to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, Bayern Munich is a side that Arsenal are very familiar with facing. Yeah. Well, should they face them this season in the Champions League, it wouldn't be until the final on different sides of the draw. Arsenal and Bayern Munich, who thrashed Atalanta yesterday. Absolutely scary, even without Harry Kane playing, as Declan Rice plays it into the channel for Gyökeres. He's got 2 defenders on his back. He tries to play the ball back to the oncoming Saka. Couldn't quite find him out for a throw-in.
That's unlucky, actually, because that's the early pass where Gyökeres wants to get into that sort of right-hand channel. You know, maybe just sort of needs to calm himself down a bit when he gets into the corner. He's just tried to swivel and play it back out to Bukayo Saka. Ends up putting out for a throw-in for Leverkusen. To be fair to Leverkusen, they've actually played their way into the game. First sort of 15-20 minutes, you know, Arsenal dominating possession. Now it's gone back to virtually 50-50. I think Leverkusen has actually grown into the game.
10 minutes to go till half-time. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Both sides with just one shot on target so far, but it's not been a particularly cagey game. Both sides trying to play football, going punch for punch. Martinelli with that good opportunity that struck the upright as Raya looks for the run of Bukayo Saka, headed out by Tapsoba, and then Andrix wins the aerial duel up against Gyökeres, who's trying to press Quansah. He hits it downfield, and Fofana this time fouls Gabriel. Free kick Arsenal, which they take quickly with Saliba. And here's Berechiese, pops it out to Urian Timber. It's a little slow in the forward areas from an Arsenal perspective. Here's Saka though, just try and speed things up. Back in field to Timber. 3-yard pass to Zubamendi. Saliba. Up to Saka. Chalk on his boots out on that far touchline. He's got two players around and can't get it past Grimaldo. Wins the throw in though.
Yeah, they do really well when it comes out to Bukayo Saka. You'd say maybe get at him a little bit earlier. Even the Saliba there took a couple of touches where you don't need to. And what happens is then Grimaldo gets out to him. That enables Tapsoba to get out and sort of double up.
All the black and red shirts of the Leverkusen players behind the ball as Arsenal play it forward to Gyökeres. Doesn't quite connect with Martinelli. Out it goes for Leverkusen. Throw in, and a bit of a chance now for me to ask you about Gyökeres and your thoughts on him this season for Arsenal.
Yeah, I've always been a fan. I just said it'd take him a while, you know, for us to get used to the way that he plays. Arsenal get used to the way he gets the way Arsenal plays as well. He's got 15 goals. He's a top goal scorer. You can tell as well, as I just said earlier, that we need to utilise his strengths a little bit quicker. He said that early on, put it into his feet. He had Andrich on toast because Andrich couldn't handle his physicality. He gets booked after 2 minutes, and then we stopped doing it. We stopped putting it into Gyökeres, so he's then got to have a little bit more about him and demand from the players that are around him. And also, you mentioned there, Flo, as well, when we get into wide areas, you know, it's been a little bit slow, whereas he will thrive on early crosses.
He has got a very good record in this competition, both for Arsenal and for Sporting. 14 games he's played in the Champions League, 10 goals he's scored in those as Arsenal press Blaswich, the goalkeeper for Leverkusen, but the German side work it out really well. Now it's out with Grimildo coming forward, yellow boots, looking for the run of Kafane, but out comes David Raya. Wasn't the right pass really, and Arsenal win it back.
Yeah, they played it quite neatly to start off with. Blaswich just going long onto the head of Poku, just then a nice little header into Kafane, getting out to that left-hand side, then Grimaldo just giving the ball away, just run through to David Raya, just come out, slid on top of the ball, and was able to distribute it nice and quickly.
A couple of nice triangle passes from Arsenal. It's now with Zubamendi in the centre circle, over the halfway line now. Back it goes to Gabriel. Zubamendi again. Gabriel again. He wasn't in the squad for the Mansfield game, and you can see Perry Groves next to me pointing.
So we're just looking at Martinelli, obviously wide on his left-hand side. It comes to Zubamendi. Zubamendi just needs to take a touch and just ping it out to Martinelli, who's giving the whip because he wants to go 1v1 up against Poku or Quansah, and then Zubamendi takes another touch, goes inside, and that enables obviously Leverkusen then to get their shape.
Free kick for Arsenal. Saka fouled by Grimaldo. He came right running through the back of him. It's all very controlled from Arsenal. They're dominating the ball. They had that good opportunity, but Leverkusen so far holding their own pretty well. Still 0-0 as 6 minutes to go till half-time. As he finds Martinelli. Capier, in fact it's Zubamendi on the overlapping run, gets it. Quansah does enough, and the Englishman fires it forward. Gabriel heads it back into that corner. Zubamendi wins the original header and wins the ball off Quansah. Really, really good from him. Gyökeres tried the return ball to Zubamendi, who again has won it, and Tapsoba manages to clear it out. Pretty poor passage of play really from a Leverkusen perspective. Arsenal still have it, and I think Gabriel thought they were stopping play because of a head injury, lets it go out of play, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah, obviously a little bit scrappy there. We'll see. Gabriel thought that Martinelli had, took a knock to the head, which you hadn't, and so you just let the referee just make the decision. Then the ball rolls out of play. Leverkusen will get the throw in. Quite rightly, they won't throw it back. But just an instant there as well when it came out to Martinelli. Zubimendi went on the underlap. If you're Martinelli, you should be saying to him, "Stay. I don't want you going inside me. I want to be." He was 1v1 with Poku. I don't want you taking another player into that area. So then it becomes even more congested. Just leave Saka and Martinelli in the wide areas and try and see if you can get that 1v1 situation.
5 minutes remaining of this first half. Still 0-0 between Leverkusen and Arsenal. Long ball up to Saka, helps it on to Gyökeres. He does well to spin away. Lays it off to Eze. Here now is Martinelli on the left. He's got two players in front of him outside of the boot. Cross in is cleared. Collected by Zubimendi. And now William Saliba clears the ball out for Leverkusen. Throw it.
Yeah, it was better play there from Saliba because he just pinged it in to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, great little touch into Gyökeres and then laid it off to Eze and then out to this left-hand side to Martinelli. They're the sort of balls that, they're the risk balls where you've got to make sure that you ping it in, trust your teammate to be able to handle it.
Throwing for Leverkusen then it's with Tapsoba, his 70th appearance in a UEFA European competition. With them for Leverkusen, the Burkina Faso man. Back with Blasvich, their goalkeeper, not the first choice goalkeeper, that's Mark Flecken, former Brentford man. He's out injured though at the moment, and Arsenal massively tested Blasvich so far in this opening 41 minutes. Just that strike off the crossbar from Gabriel Martinelli. Ball breaks for Gabriel.
The thing that Blasvich has done really well in goal for Leverkusen is when he's been under pressure and on the press, he hasn't tried to be too clever. He's actually gone long very, very quickly. Just seeing it again, just a little bit stopping us there from Arsenal. And Capier's a simple pass out to Martinelli, only 20 yards away from him. He actually puts it behind him, just puts the ball out of play. Then that takes away the momentum and fluidity, obviously, of your attack.
Gyökeres chasing Konsa into his own penalty area. Back to Blasvich, who fires downfield. The header won by Zubimendi. And Poco heads out for an Arsenal throw-in. No Arsenal long throw-ins have been taken yet. No Ricardo Calafiori on the pitch. He often takes the long throw-ins when he is on the pitch. And Capier has it. He can launch it in, but instead he throws it back to Gabriel.
I think Declan Rice has got one as well, isn't he? I think they had a long throw competition because they're on vogue now, haven't they? He's come back into the game with obviously the likes of Coyote at Brentford.
Arsenal know all too well about Coyote's long throw-ins. They conceded against one of those last time they played the Bees, as here is Eze now. Drifting in field, looking for options, switches it out to Saka, pink boots, captain's armband on his arm. He's always doubled up on Zubimendi though. Boos as Arsenal have the ball from the Leverkusen crowd. Gabriel fires it out to Martinelli, up against Poku, who's engaged him. Martinelli driven away from goal, away from the wide areas. It's good marshalling from Poku. He's gone with him all the way. Back to Gabriel, final 90 seconds of this first half, still 0-0 here in the round of 16 as the Leverkusen players now jump out to press as it's back with the two Arsenal centre-halves. The ball forward from Gabriel was not a good one, but well won back by Nketiah.
They just got Martinelli coming to the left-hand side. He looks busy, but he did like 4 pirouettes where he didn't actually go anywhere.
Here's Declan Rice though into the penalty area. Finds Saka. Saka trying to cut in field for the strike. Ran straight though into Palacios, who finds it forward for Kafane. Kafane up against just Gabriel. Cameroonian forward running at Gabriel and Saliba, who's come back. His strike hits one of the Arsenal men. He's got the ball on the edge of the box still. Red shirt surrounding him. Finds Grimaldo back into Ibrahim Marza. He's in the box. Nice quick feet, couple of stepovers. His ball across off to Mendy and out for a corner in the final minute of this first half.
Yeah, good counter-attack again from Leverkusen. Kafane just finds himself 1v1 with Gabriel. Gabriel manages to hold him up. That enables Arsenal to get 3 or 4 players back. Kafane gets his shot in, then it comes out to Marza on the left-hand side. He goes to get his cross in, gets a block. So this is a heightened alert now for Arsenal.
First corner of the match then, and the first corner of the game goes to Leverkusen this final moment, and they take it quickly. Garcia to Marza, back to Garcia. He whips the ball in, touched out well by Raya, helped on further by Eze, and actually into the path of Bukayo Saka. Here is Saka up against Garcia. Tries to cut in field again, then across comes Palacios to win it back. Bukayo Saka's not had the greatest of first half so far.
No, because he's being doubled up on what he has to do, and he has to start going on the outside. You do that, you negate the two players that are in front of you. He just actually tried to cut in onto his left foot, and he had his roller skates on.
Ibrahim Marza goes from range with the effort. Didn't quite catch it right behind for a goal kick. To 30 seconds of the 2 additional minutes on the end of this first half. Still Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0.
Marza just picking the ball up in that inside left position, getting a turn on. But Declan Rice knew, obviously with the angles as he went to close him down, that Marza wasn't going to have to get it on target because he was actually blocking that shot.
Raya's not going to play this one out. He's going to instead hit it long. Arsenal shooting towards the goal. All the ultras by Leverkusen stand, they're all jumping up and down, waving big red and black flags.
Just heard the sound of the David Raya's studs on the post there. It's quite refreshing to know he's got aluminium studs in. Warm to cockles flow, that does. Takes me back to when I was a kid, when I was about 10, just walking out on the concrete. You can hear the clunk clunk of the aluminium studs, thinking I'm ready to go to battle now.
30 seconds remaining in this first half. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Kwanzaa down the line, flicked on. And for a Leverkusen throw a little bit further on. There's been plenty of rain here in Germany, so you do need your big metal studs on. Back to Andrich, the captain, and the referee brings their first half to a close then. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. A couple of chances for Leverkusen. Arsenal with the best opportunity. Gabriel Martinelli striking the crossbar from close range. But aside from that, Arsenal have had plenty of possession, lots of control. A very equally contested game so far. 0-0 at the break, Perry Groves.
Yeah, very much so. So Arsenal started off first 10-15 minutes on the front foot, passing the ball very quickly, getting into Gyökeres. So he had Andrich pinned a couple of times. Andrich gets booked after like 2 minutes. But then, to be fair to Leverkusen, they gradually sort of played their way back into the game. Kafane up front is a danger on the counter-attack. Obviously giving Saliba and Gabriel, a bit of a hard time because he's got pace, he's got physical strength. From Arsenal's point of view, I think they just need to move the ball a little bit quicker. It's all very controlled, which away from home they've done. The first job is sort of quieten the crowd down a little bit, but you just want to see a little bit more explosiveness, whether it's in the passing through the lines or it's out to the wide areas. So Martinelli gets it on the left and he keeps cutting in, and then it's all congested because Bukayo Saka's been doubled up every time he's got the ball, so maybe you need Timber just going around the outside of him. But if you was Mikel Arteta, you'd be pleased. You're getting in at half-time at 0-0. Just release the hounds a little bit in that second half.
And talking about releasing the hounds, Kai Havertz looks like he's going through quite a thorough warm-up. Might we see him against his former side in the second half. Half-time though at the Bay Arena, it is Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. You're listening to the Champions League live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it.
Champions League live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
This was my reaction to the Making Tax Digital self-assessment and the fact that as of April, I have to file my taxes every quarter. No! Please, no! But now I use Anna Money, it's more like, oh that, yeah, all sorted. Didn't even have to think about it. Anna does your MTD self-assessment for free. You just sign up, connect your bank account, and that's it. Everything happens automatically. Search Anna Money to find out more.
With LV, I can get my car insurance from just £299. Just the price I'm after right now. And if I'm hit by an uninsured driver, I won't lose my no-claim discount because insurance is simple when it's me and LV. No wonder we're rated excellent on Trustpilot. Get your quote today at lv.com. 10% of new customers paid £299 or less July to December 2025. Uninsured driver promise is non-fault accident only. Other vehicle and driver details required. LV General Insurance is part of Allianz.
This week at Lidl, you can afford to be mum's favourite. Treat her with a gorgeous Mother's Day bouquet from $1.89 and show your love with a bottle of Alini Prosecco Spumante, only $4.69 with Lidl Plus. Lidl, more to value. 18 plus excludes Scotland while stocks last. Offer ends 18th of March. Terms apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
People are tuning into radio more than ever. Advertise here and get your message heard by up to 6.5 million switched on listeners every week. Email radio@news.co.uk.
The same band, the same chorus, different headphones. Discover hi-fi sound for yourself with the Samsung Galaxy Buds 4 Pro and get £50 off with code 50buds4pro at currys.co.uk when you recycle any old tech by the 28th of April. Your sound, your way. 18 plus, £50 off Samsung Galaxy Buds 4 Pro when you recycle any electrical item working or not working into a Currys store.
Who are you going for at the Cheltenham Festival?
The favourite.
The favourite.
The favourite, without a doubt.
This Cheltenham Festival, everyone's going for the free favourite pull-out in the sun. It's jam-packed with top tips and form guides for all the runners and riders. And a free £5 in-shop bet with Coral each day of the festival. Get your copy of The Favourite every day only in the sun. T's and C's apply. 18 plus only. GambleAware.org.
TalkSport Breakfast in partnership with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK. Move up through the gears every morning with top of the range sports edition, ABS, story breaking news, and more gold talk to the gallon. Plus a stellar lineup of super celebrity sports guests as standard. TalkSport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 on TalkSport with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK.
TalkSport 2. Traffic and travel.
Long delays near the South Yorkshire Greater Manchester border on the main road between Barnsley and Manchester, the A628. The Woodhead Pass has been closed off between the Dunford Bridge turn-off and the Flout roundabout as a serious accident is investigated. Turning our attention to Lancashire now, a few miles south of Lancaster, the A6 Goldgate is blocked by a collision, and long queues on the M42 northbound in the West Midlands up to Junction 5 at the Solihull bypass following an accident that's now been cleared. I'm Johnny Ratner.
Got an unquenchable thirst for sport? Get up to speed with the day's biggest sports stories with the TalkSport Hit. Crammed full of the latest team news, big match previews, and discussing the day's hottest topics.
An improvement week in, week out.
Plus, get all the latest results and full fan reaction to the biggest events in world sport.
It's a wonderful goal!
Satisfy your thirst for sports news with the TalkSport Hit. Subscribe now on Acast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Established and excellent evening star of football.
Kickoff live on TalkSport 2.
The nights that will forever be recalled. Haaland peels away inside the box. De Bruyne! 1-1. Karim Benzema, right-footed, he addresses it and slots it into the bottom right-hand corner, sending Ederson the wrong way.
Things happen in this competition, and particularly with this team in white.
That semi-final at the Etihad.
Haaland slipping it in for Julian Alvarez. They've beaten the defending champions by 4-0.
It's the best performance I've ever seen from a team in the flesh. It was amazing.
And so to the next instalment of the story.
Look, I think Real Madrid are still in a rebuild that they'd rather not be in.
Finishes through a goal, fires it into the bottom right-hand corner.
Outside Arda Güler, where's the craft?
You play against that teams that they have an incredible experience.
Haaland goes up for the header, and it's a brilliant header.
Only one can go fourth in the greatest club competition in the world.
You're listening to Champions League Live on TalkSport 2. We're at half-time. It's by Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. We'll have full second half commentary to come shortly, but immediately after us, we're going to bring you more Champions League action as Chelsea face PSG in a mouth-watering last 16 tie. Whilst over on TalkSport, Man City face Real Madrid. This will be the 11th time they've faced each other since the 2019-20 season, and City boss Pep Guardiola isn't taking these occasions for granted.
Honestly, it's better to be here than not be here. I prefer to be here than don't be here. I prefer to come into the stadium to play last 16, because that means we are in the more or less the elite of the Europe. Like this club, I said many times, 12, 30 years ago, never was there. So as much you are here, as much you play that games, for me, myself, is always a learning. For the new players that we have, always experience for the future. And of course, we want to go through. Of course, we are going to give everything to win the game tomorrow, to go through next Tuesday, because we want to continue. And this is the way you have to approach the game.
That's over on TalkSport. Whilst here on TalkSport 2, Chelsea face PSG in a repeat of the Club World Cup final, and Liam Rosenior is fully aware of the challenge they face.
PSG was so good last year. The football I saw, obviously I was here in this country witnessing them go through their journey to win the Champions League, and I was admiring it as the Strasbourg manager. When you have success, people want to knock you down. And that's normal, that's a part of life. I'm sensing that here at Chelsea as well since I've become the manager here. When you are a top level club, people, when things aren't going so well, they will speak about it more. I won't speak about the difference between now and then. What I will say, in terms of the quality of the team, in terms of the quality of the opposition manager, are world class. They're world class, and it would be crazy to not expect anything else. I expect a very difficult challenge, tactically, physically, technically, because they have some world class players. They have a world class manager, and so we do too. We have world class players. So I think it's going to be a great game for the neutral. We have to remember it's a two-legged game, and we have to make sure we have discipline and focus in terms of that aspect. But I think in terms of a draw, I think it makes for an exciting game for the neutral.
Chelsea will also be looking to improve their discipline record this season, with 9 red cards being dished out for their players this season, and that's something defender Malo Gusto recognises.
I think it's something that we have to improve for sure. We know that it's always complicated to be sent off during the game, of course. But yeah, now we just has to improve. That's the only thing that I can say, to take our responsibilities and help the team as much as possible. Without red card, it would be much better for sure.
And a reminder, you'll be able to hear Chelsea's trip to PSG live on TalkSport 2 immediately after us. Former Arsenal player Perry Groves alongside me, we both had our jelly babies. How big is that game, PSG-Chelsea? In fact, which one do you think's bigger, PSG-Chelsea or Man City-Real Madrid?
I would say probably Man City, Real Madrid-Man City, because of, the history that they've got. Obviously, Pep Guardiola being ex-Barcelona manager as well. I think in the knockout stages, he was the last manager to keep a clean sheet against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. I think it was 2011. So it just shows you, even if it's an average Real Madrid side, they're going to cause you problems. You saw under Carlo Ancelotti how many times did they not play very well, and then obviously got the world-class superstars to get them out of trouble. They've got a lot of injuries, obviously, at the moment, Real Madrid as well. Man City are in really good form. So I can't see that being a boring 0-0 flow somehow. I thought Liam Rosenior I thought he turned into a little bit Mike Bassett there, just telling how great PSG were. He's like, they've got world-class players, world-class managers. At the end he went, actually we've got world-class players as well. Just have a little caveat, so it doesn't get clipped up.
And of course those sides are all on that tough side of the draw, aren't they? PSG and Chelsea, they'll play the winner of Galatasaray Liverpool. The winner of Real Madrid Man City will play the winner of Bayern Munich Atalanta, looking like Bayern Munich at this stage after they beat Atalanta 6-1 in the first leg. Arsenal, if they get past Leverkusen, and that is an if because we're halfway through the first leg here and it's 0-0, they will play the winner of Bodo Glimt or Sporting Lisbon.
Yep, as you say, it's an if. You're this stage of the Champions League in the last 16. You're coming against quality opposition. We've seen Leverkusen here, not in particularly brilliant form like in the Bundesliga. Lying 6 at the moment, but of course Arsenal, problems in that first half. That's exactly what happens when you play teams at this stage.
Let's have a listen to those first half highlights then from Bayer Leverkusen Arsenal. fuming after Arsenal conceded that goal from the corner. He's so on the fine details, isn't he, Arteta? That will really have annoyed him.
Well, you can't let the opposition play through you from the kickoff. So, and it looked like Arsenal might have got away with it because it was a brilliant save from David Raya from Terrier's header, and then they just switched off again from the corner.
And here is Leverkusen again now going forward. Terrier finds Poku out on that right-hand side. Tiny little shin pad, socks slung low. Back to the goal scorer, Andrich. His first goal in the Champions League this season. He's their captain. Looked like he was going to have a bad evening when he got a yellow card after almost 2 minutes into the first half, fouling Gyökeres, but he's done well since then. Scored the goal that's got Leverkusen in front. Here is Palacios, just inside his own half. Back to Andrich. Arsenal trail by a goal to nil. Leverkusen enjoying themselves. The fans in the stands, the drums. Brilliant atmosphere here in Germany. Well worked move down the right hand side now. Here's Poku. Plays it back. It's now with Palacios. Tries to thread the ball through the eye of a needle. Arsenal win it back and they try and break quickly, but Nkapie's ball forward for Gyökeres was never really on.
No, if he's going to play that ball, he's got to make sure that he plays it hugging the left-hand touchline, but he's actually just snuggled it into the centre. So Leverkusen just starting to enjoy that little bit of possession after 6 minutes in this second half. Arsenal need to find some energy from somewhere because they're just dropping into that 4-4-2 sort of formation and they're letting Leverkusen get in some passing rhythm where they're closing down. It's not explosive enough. You know, you can let them have the ball when they come sort of into your half, then you've got to go and close down, then you've got to make sure that you make them make quick decisions. At the moment, it's all quite comfortable for Leverkusen.
Here's Palacios. Arsenal dropping deep. Ball's in front of them, really nice. A couple of passes down this left-hand side. Ronaldo, approaching 100 UEFA appearances in all competitions. 19 goal contributions this season for him. 12 goals, 7 assists, and he scored against the last 2 English opponents that Leverkusen faced. That was against Manchester City. Leverkusen won there, and a 2-2 draw with Newcastle in the league phase. Here is Ronaldo now, coming forward, into the box. Timber sticks out the leg, and Saliba then wanted Raya to come for it. He doesn't. Saliba then clears. Arsenal struggling a little bit here. Down by a goal. It's Leverkusen have all of the ball. Poku. A little feint of the shoulder, goes back to Ponsa.
Yeah, Arsenal just gone too passive in this second half because came out to Garcia there and he just had a little run in the inside left position and Kieran Timber should have gone and closed him down, then he left it, went on the sort of the cricket long barrier sort of, you know, block. Then it comes to Saliba. Saliba's looking at David Raya to come out and get it, so just a lot of hesitation in this Arsenal side at the moment.
Arsenal looking a bit nerving. Out it goes to Grimaldo. He puts the ball in the penalty area, headed out by Saliba, chested down then by Eze, who's trying to get it under control and set Arsenal away, and that's really good play from him. Finds Timber, but Grimaldo does well, comes across, slides, puts it out for a throw, and he thinks it should be a throw for Leverkusen, but it's been given to Arsenal.
Yeah, do you see the difference there? Obviously when Leverkusen give the ball away and it's rolled out during Timber, it's Grimaldo who's on the front foot with energy, trying to close him down, you know, just making a quick decision. So in this first, coming up to 9 minutes of the second half, Arsenal have just retreated too much.
You're listening to Bayer Leverkusen Arsenal, the Champions League. Leverkusen leading by a goal to nil, live here on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Alongside with former Arsenal player Perry Groves. So here is Declan Rice, takes the ball on the half-turn, fires it with the outsider's foot out to Martinelli. He'll run at Poku, driving to the edge of the box in the field. Poku slides in, but he manages to divert Martinelli away. Here is Rice, back to Spaniard Martin Zubimendi. Saliba, out to Saka on this right-hand side. He'll run at Grimaldo, tries to play it in between 2 defenders, and Leverkusen do well to win it back. It's not really come off this evening for Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, Palacios does really well, gets out to Grimaldo, just ends up again creating that 2v1 situation, just cutting the space down for Bukayo Saka.
moment just there, Perry Groves, where Leverkusen tried to go on the counter, moves breaks down, Arsenal get it, and Leverkusen aren't set. Martinelli has it, he could take it and run at the penalty area. Instead he slows it down and passes back.
Yeah, what happens, he does that circle, doesn't he? He does like the pirouette where he just comes back inside again. And say what happens there is it enables Leverkusen then to get their team shape back in defensively.
Arsenal lacking that incisive pass, that bit of penetration required. As Saka again dribbles into a defender, loses the ball, his taps about in the penalty area. A little bit too calm perhaps, but he does manage to clear, and it's Nketiah who chests it down and passes it forward, pokes it backwards to David Raya.
Declan Rice is dropping deep now, just trying to get up the tempo of the ball. Great little ball in from Zubimendi to Bukayo Saka, where Bukayo Saka again has just lost it far too cheaply. That time it was Palacios who went and closed him down. So it's just not happening at the moment for Bukayo Saka on this right hand side.
It's been excellent, Palacios, so far in this game. The Argentinian midfielder as Ronaldo breaks away now for Leverkusen. Timber alongside him as well, though, to evade him. 56 minutes played. Leverkusen leading Arsenal by a goal to nil. Arsenal trailing for the first time in the Champions League this season. They won every game in the league phase, finished top to get this quote on paper favourable draw, but they are losing at the moment to Leverkusen. There's Blaswich, the goalkeeper, all in green for the German side. He finds it up to Kafane. Header is won by Saliba. Does well to find Martinelli. Does a good job of holding onto the ball. Again, they're kind of pirouetting. Lots of little touches. Now with Nketiah.
Did well that time, Martinelli, just to make sure he said he just held on to the ball, just keep possession. Arsenal need to just try and grab the control back.
As Eze finds William Saliba. Here is Nketiah now. 66 appearances when he was at Leverkusen, into Martinelli, who gets away from Poku, then goes down. We'll be getting the free kick here, and out comes the yellow card for Poku, and it's a right yellow card as well, a correct yellow card.
That's the first time that either Martinelli or Bukayo Saka have gone on the outside of the forward. This time it's Poku who tries to engage Martinelli, just gets it out of his feet. He knows he's got more pace than Poku, just goes around the outside of him. Poku is actually struggling. He trips himself up initially. His left foot hits the floor, slides into Martinelli. 100% it's a free kick. Poku gets a yellow card. Dangerous free kick for Arsenal, just on the left-hand edge of Leverkusen's box.
It's out wide, so it's not an opportunity for a strike. The angle very tight. It's Declan Rice who's over to take it though, and Martinelli's hobbling a little bit after that challenge from Poku. I don't think who actually meant to take him out. As you said, he kind of tripped himself and then fell into the back of Martinelli's legs, which then made a Brazilian trip. Let's see how Arsenal can. Let's see if Arsenal can test Leverkusen from this set piece. Here is Declan Rice then. Calm look on his face, pulls his shorts up in annoyance as the referee just pauses to come in and have a word with William Saliba. Who's up against Tapsoba. Two big players, two big centre backs.
We've got Poku ticking up Gabriel on the penalty spot as well, a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah, very much so. Declan Rice then lifted into the box, and the header met by Nketiah is over and behind for a goal kick, and he was about 3 yards out, couldn't keep the header down. Good chance for Arsenal.
Yeah, nice little free kick from Declan Rice, just feeding it in swing with his right foot, and Nketiah just getting away from his mark on the edge of the 6 yard box, couldn't quite direct the header downwards, goes over the crossbar.
Well, big change coming now from Mikel Arteta then. Off comes the captain, Bukayo Saka, on comes Madueke, and you said it a moment ago, Perry Groves, it's not been Saka's night and he's been hooked.
Yep, and so just for the standards that Bukayo Saka sets, he knows that it hasn't really happened for him. He's been doubled up every time he's got the ball, just hasn't looked sharp, hasn't looked like he's had that acceleration to go past Grimaldo when he's been 1v1 on the odd occasion. So now obviously Madueke will come on this right hand side, and hopefully he'll be able to get Grimaldo 1v1, because Tapsoba comes over as well and sort of doubles up.
Half an hour remaining. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. Leverkusen leading through that goal scored just after half-time. Robert Andrich with the header from the corner. And here comes Grimaldo. Cross comes Madueke. Good challenge from the Englishman. Plays it back to Saliba, who fires it away for Arsenal as they can't get it under control. Gyökeres does win the header though. Not really see much at all from Gyökeres either, but here comes Madueke then. What can he do now? He's onto the field, out to Eze on the right. He then goes into the penalty area as his ball across, looking for Gyökeres, goes out and behind for Arsenal's first corner of the game, and we've played an hour.
Yeah, better play down the right-hand side from Arsenal. Madueke just carrying the ball, just releasing it. Eberechi Eze getting his crossing first time. What we need Gyökeres maybe to get himself across the front of Andrich, who's managed to just stumble and clear it the outside of his right foot. For corner for Arsenal on their right-hand side.
So Arsenal so good often from set pieces and from corners. Can they do it again? Here is the corner. It's going to be taken not by Declan Rice but by the man that's just come on, Noni Madueke. Gabriel is up there, and as you noticed earlier, Perry Groves has been marked again by Poku, who is good head smaller than him, and it's whipped in. Loads of players in the penalty area, punched out by the goalkeeper in the headed clearance. A poor one back in by Martinelli, and then first contact from Leverkusen, and they get it clear as far as Declan Rice. Rice then goes for the delivery, spins in, headed out. Eze tries to keep it alive. It's with Martinelli now. Gabriel. Arsenal behind in Europe for the first time this season. For the first time since they lost the semi-final last campaign against PSG. Here is Madueke now. On for Saka a moment ago. Into Rice. He helps it back to Saliba. Nice little 1-2 and a ball through from Zubimendi, who's fouled. Ref plays on, out to Madueke. He then lifts the ball into the penalty area, punched well by the goalkeeper. Will it break for Timber? No, it won't. Fired out. I wonder if Zubimendi's all right after that, and the referee's in fact going to give a yellow card for that.
Garcia's going to get a yellow card because it was good play from Zubimendi. Nutmeg. Garcia comes sliding in. Just the Leverkusen goalkeeper Blažević has defended his corners really well. The first one, which was whipped in obviously from Madueke, he got a good two-fisted punch to it. The next time it came out to Declan Rice, he's whipped the ball in again. Blažević makes sure that he's came out very, very confident, very determined, got a big right fist to it. So when you're the centre halves of Leverkusen, that's exactly what your goalkeepers do, just to come out and take responsibility.
Someone that needs to take responsibility though for Arsenal. They are trailing by a goal to nil at the moment, and they're struggling to create opportunities to test Blažević in the goal. Just confirmation of that yellow card. It's actually for Palacios, not Garcia. So Palacios and Andrich, the two players in the book for Leverkusen. For Arsenal, it's just Gabriel Martinelli. Here's Eze, takes it and turns, drifts out towards Madueke. He doesn't look to run at Grimaldo, instead passes it back to Eze in field, who then switches it out to Nketiah. Here's Martinelli running at Poku, who he beats with ease on that occasion. Gets the ball into the penalty area, headed back across by Madueke. Here is Gyökeres, wouldn't quite fall for him in the penalty area. A bit better though from Arsenal. Madueke into Timber, takes a nice turn in the box. Timber cuts it across, cleared by Palacios. And Grimaldo will try and run it out. Arsenal win it back. They win the throw-in.
Yeah, good defending from Palacios again. It's near post. Good play from Jurien Timber, just having a little 360 turn and then getting it back onto his right foot and just trying to whip the ball across 6-yard box. Palacios just realised where the danger is, gets his clearance in.
Arsenal trailing by a goal to nil, but they've got the ball. They look like they're building a bit of momentum. Can they create the opportunities? Get back level. Here's Gabriel coming forward, not challenged, slides it out to the right to Madueke up against Grimaldo, but Marza comes along to also double up on him, and then the ball forward from Saliba was not a good one, not one read well by Timber, and Leverkusen will clear, looking for the run of Kafane. Out comes David Raya as well, although then it's fired back forward and David Raya will not be lobbed from there, and he'll just collect the ball in his box. But was that calmly done by Raya, or was that a little bit hectic?
I think it's a little bit hectic because David Raya is only 5 yards inside his own half. His starting position's really, really high. I think he's just let Gabriel deal with it because it looked like he had the legs on Kafane.
wanting to get involved, wanting to help Arsenal. He is helpless at the moment. His side trailing by Golden. That's Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0.
And Capcha's just got away with one of the worst throws I think I've seen this season. He looked like he was just the Easter Bunny, just like rubbing his ears then.
Here is Piero Hincapié. He's a key part of the double winning side at Leverkusen those couple of years ago again under Xabi Alonso. And an Arsenal man, if they take that obligation to Bayern on loan, which looks like they will we see any more Arsenal changes soon? Kai Havertz is on the sidelines, warmed up, he's still got his bib, tracksuit top and tracky bottoms on, so not quite yet. 25 minutes remaining though. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0 here on TalkSport 2. Plenty more Champions League action after us as well. Stick with us on TalkSport 2 for PSG Chelsea, and on TalkSport Real Madrid Manchester City. Here comes Marza though for Leverkusen. His forward pass cut out, and now it's collected by Madueke. He goes back to Raya. Forward ball to Zubimendi. 2-yard pass back to Declan Rice. Gyökeres has made a run. Instead it's played out to the left towards Martinelli. He's up against Kwanzaa. Poku's back to help him out. Martinelli still has it. Driven back away from goal. And Leverkusen have done so well with Arsenal's wide men, with Saka and Martinelli. They're always doubling up on them. But there's then space in the middle for other Arsenal players as Timber drives through the centre of the park, in fact, tries to flick it round for Martinelli, and Leverkusen will clear.
There's a good drive and run from Jurgen Timber in that inside right position. He's just tried to be clever with his little back flick. What he should be doing is just smashing the ball across the 6-yard box.
And here is Tapsoba, quite far forward for a centre-back, and in fact he plays it forward into Kafane. He's done really well against Saliba and Gabriel so far, and he's got a big Frenchman on his back, fires it back to Tapsoba, and it's well held by Leverkusen. Keeping the ball in Arsenal's half. Leverkusen fans are enjoying this. The Arsenal fans that have travelled to Germany less so. They're not used to seeing their side lose in recent years, or this season. In fact, Arsenal have only lost 3 times this season. They've played 46 games. That is quite remarkable. At the moment, though, they are trailing. Here's Palacios. Arsenal can't get near the Leverkusen players as they just stroke the ball around in Arsenal's half. Garcia back to Andrix, the goal scorer with that header. Now it's into Terrier. Kafane turns. Poku on the right hand side. He plays it back. Ball's whipped into a good looking area, and Zubimendi did just enough to prevent the header. Here's Madueke, and gets away from his marker. Arsenal coming forward. Gyökeres has made a run, not picked out. He is picked out on the second attempt though. Here is Gyökeres. Back to Madueke. In the penalty area but wide, his ball's straight into Blažević. Not sure if that was a shot or a cross, but the angle was never on for the shot.
Yeah, I think he just needs to check out there Madueke. It was good play initially from Madueke, running fully 40-50 yards through the middle of the pitch, releases Gyökeres, who then has a reverse pass back to Madueke, and he gets to the byline, and you said that the angle is just too narrow, so what he's got to do is he's turn back out, make sure he keeps possession. He's tried to whip it in with his right foot, goes straight to Blažević in Leverkusen's goal.
Arsenal scored 23 goals in the league phase, in 8 league phase games. They haven't yet found a goal. Trailing here by a goal to 0, and a yellow card comes out for Martin Zubimendi for a late challenge on Ibrahim Marza. So another Arsenal man in the book, and we can have a look on the replays on our screens in front of us. Perry Groves, is that a yellow card for you?
That's a ridiculous decision, because Zubimendi's actually slid in on Marza, and just because he's followed through, what are you supposed to do? When you go in for a sliding tackle, how can you stop yourself following through and then making contact with Marza? And the referee couldn't wait to get the yellow card out. And to be fair to Thomas Müller, he's actually refereed the game really well up until that decision, which I think was an unnecessary booking.
Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football, approaching the final 20 minutes here. Ball slid into the left-hand channel for Leverkusen. They're attacking through Ibrahim Marza. He's got Saliba and Timber backtracking. He plays it back to Grimaldo. Nice 1-2. It's back with Grimaldo into Tapsoba. And after a little bit of possession, a couple of half chances for Arsenal, Leverkusen have wrestled back control, they've got the ball back.
Just look in the second half. Well, the first half was like very even, but in the second half, Arsenal just looked like they've lacked that little bit of energy, haven't they? That little bit of spark when they're out of possession, because Leverkusen, I've just put the commentator's curse, I'm just going to say that, you know, they've been really good in possession. Andrich, the captain, then just gives away with no pressure on him. But up until then, they've been quite comfortable in possession. You know, there hasn't been any Arsenal players snapping at their heels when they get into Arsenal's half. It's Palacios or Garcia get themselves on the ball. You know, so Arsenal just look like they're sort of half a yard off it at the moment.
And Arsenal have still only had one attempt on target, and they've just given the ball away. William Saliba trying to carry it out of defence, runs into trouble and ends up just having to poke it out for a throw-in. Not what we're used to seeing from William Saliba and from Arsenal. They trail by a goal to nil, 20 minutes remaining, and Kai Havertz is stripped off, having a conversation with Nicolas Jova, the set-piece coach, who will be coming on very imminently, and I think that's much needed for Arsenal.
Yeah, and they need a focal point. So Gyökeres has been on the periphery. You know, we said before, he started off really well in that first 10-15 minutes, and Arsenal didn't play into him, so it'll probably be a like for like. And Kai Havertz is one thing he does really, really well, is he holds the ball up very, very well. He engages defenders.
Havertz on the sidelines now, ready to come on when the ball next goes out of play, chatting to Arteta. Arsenal in possession, midway inside Leverkusen's half, with Jurrien Timber, now with Zubimendi. Arsenal go back, all the black and red shirts of the Leverkusen players behind the ball, and they're just walking from side to side. Arsenal not really posing them any problems. They're not trying to play the ball in behind, they're not sprinting at them. They're just content to play in that dish round from left to right, right to left.
Yeah, it goes in that horseshoe shape, doesn't it? So you said it goes from the left-hand side out to the right-hand side. The time that Arsenal looked really dangerous was 2 times that Martinelli went on the outside of Poku, and that's what you need from Madueke on this right-hand side as well.
Declan Rice finds Madueke. He's got 2 defenders in front of him, so he's going to have to do something pretty special to beat both of them. He then plays it inside to Rice, 20 yards from goal. Back to William Saliba, and now here is Madueke again. He'll run at his defender on the edge of the box, trying to get it onto the left foot to shoot. Instead, square to Martinelli, up to Piero Hincapié. Poku goes to engage here. Midfield to Eze, who's a couple of touches on the edge of the box, forced away from the penalty area, and then there's a rather awkward ball to Saliba, who manages to get there ahead of Marza and maintain possession for Arsenal. Madueke now, it's all being played on the edge of Leverkusen's box.
You got every single outfield player by Leverkusen behind the ball. Even Kafane's come back. He's only sort of 10 yards outside his own 18-yard box. All very congested at the moment from Arsenal's point of view.
Martinelli plays the ball in.
Yeah, great play from Martinelli, just going on that left-hand side again on the outside of Poku, just played the ball in. Nobody could attack it. Comes out to Jurrien Timber, back out onto the right-hand side. Just tries to whip the ball in with his right foot. Again, it just goes straight down the throat of Leverkusen goalkeeper Blažević.
Leverkusen looking very comfortable defending here against Arsenal, but here comes Kai Havertz then against his former side. Won this competition, Champions League with Chelsea, scored the winning goal in the final. Leverkusen, his boyhood club, and he's getting a good welcome here from the fans. Over 150 appearances for them, 46 goals, and Leverkusen also taking the chance to make a sub. Off goes Marza, on comes Tillman. So a like-for-like change there. And what can Havertz bring for Arsenal? He's on for Gyökeres.
Yeah, I think he'll demand that the ball comes into him. He'll give that sort of little bit of calmness up front, where he engages the centre-halves, and then hopefully if he can get it into his feet and just bring Eze into the game. Martinelli coming in from the left-hand side, Madueke from the right-hand side, but Arsenal just have to move the ball a little bit quicker. But then when Leverkusen are in possession, Arsenal have to go and engage them with more energy, with more intensity, which we haven't seen, which is unusual for Arsenal out of possession. Normally they're on it, you know, and they're putting the opposition under pressure. That hasn't happened in this second half.
Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0 in the Champions League, the first leg here in Germany. Here's Tillman, the substitute that's just come on for Leverkusen, helps it out to the right to Poku. Poku up against Nketiah. Plays it back to Garcia. And Leverkusen's captain Andrich is down in the centre circle. I think the referee, in fact, is going to stop play. Just to check on him, he's holding his head, so the referee thinks that's a head injury, and I think it's just coming together between him and Kai Havertz from an earlier moment.
Yeah, I think obviously Kai Havertz uses his arm for leverage, just trying to get his forearm across Andrich there. Yeah, just accidental collision. Quite rightly the referee just stopped play because obviously a head injury.
You're listening to my Leverkusen Arsenal in the Champions League live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car here for it, but now enterprise.co.uk. Plenty more European action after us on TalkSport 2 tonight. It's PSG Chelsea, live commentary from Joe Shannon and Tony Cascarino. And on TalkSport at 8 p.m. it's Real Madrid, Manchester City. Full coverage presented by Adrian Durham. Commentary from Jim Proudfoot and Scott Minto. So we're back underway here. Arsenal have 15 minutes to rescue something from this first leg. They're trailing by a goal to nil. That Andrich header from the corner. Here's Madueke, who came on for Bukayo Saka. Moving the ball slowly, edging forward. Back to Saliba, infield to Zubimendi. Wonderful ball to Timber, whose ball across is cut out by Tapsoba. A nice Arsenal move, breaks down.
Great little flick from Zubimendi, little Cruyff flick in the 18-yard box.
Now here comes Kafane for Leverkusen. Driving towards the penalty area, past Gabriel, past Rice, and then the effort comes in, and it's a wild one from Garcia. Really good work though from Kafane. The young Cameroonian forward has done a brilliant job this afternoon.
Yeah, he's played really well, Kafane. He's given him a focal point up front, and every time Leverkusen looked to counter-attack, he's made sure that he's kept Saliba and Gabriel honest. Just cuts inside Gabriel. I think Gabriel should have got across a little bit quicker. Then just goes laterally across the 18-yard box. Then comes out to Garcia and just didn't really look like he had the conviction there, did he, Flo, to be fair? He just sort of leant back and smashed it over the crossbar.
After all the good work Kafane had done as well. Mikel Arteta cutting a really frustrated figure on the touchline. Arsenal trailing by a goal to nil, 13 minutes remaining in this first leg. Arsenal then in action on Saturday at home to Everton. Before this, and then we've got League Cup final, of course, Manchester City. Here is Madueke though. Gets past Tillman, can't get past Grimaldo. Out it goes though for an Arsenal corner.
Yeah, it's good play from Madueke. It's exactly what you need to do, is go on the outside. He went up the outside of Tillman first, and then it's Grimaldo who then comes, tries to engage and just get a little toe poke in. They corner for Arsenal on their right hand side. Before, when Madueke took it, he actually did whip a good ball in, and Blažević in Leverkusen's goal defended it really well, come out and punched it with double fist. So you've got to make sure that you make him make a decision.
They've been very careful not to give away many corners, Leverkusen. What can Arsenal do from this one? Here is Madueke in swinger, and it's met by Tapsoba and out. Only so far as Rice. He then plays it back to Madueke. One touch, dribbles inside, goes to the byline, hangs it up towards the back stick. Zubimendi met it, but the header goes behind him. Gabriel then pokes it to Martinelli. Arsenal still have got players in the penalty area. Nketiah stayed forward. Kai Havertz is in there. Here is Gabriel outside the box. Declan Rice now, 35 yards from goal into Jurrien Timber in the inside channel. Back to Saliba. Out it goes to the right-hand side for Madueke now. Grimaldo just standing him up. He's done well, Alejandro Grimaldo, so far this game against Saka and now against Madueke. Back to Saliba. A little bit pedestrian from Arsenal there, and round it goes now to the left-hand side, where it's Martinelli up against Poku, but Tillman's there also to double up. Manages to get the ball in. Good ball in. Kwanzaa heads it out at the near post, and Arsenal get the free kick. Rather awkward interaction between Zubimendi and I think it's Garcia. Garcia thought he'd won the free kick, but it actually went against him, and Arsenal have the free kick instead.
Yeah, Garcia had absolutely no intention of playing the ball. It's like Terrier just comes in, just puts a shoulder into Zubimendi. To be fair, Zubimendi knows what's happening, just managed to ride the challenge. Quite rightly, the referee gives the free kick.
Too far out for a shot at goal. Declan Rice over it though. And David Raya had come all the way up to give some instructions to some of the outfield players. Gabriel Jesus about to come on to the field of play. Not before this set piece though. So Declan Rice over this, 10 minutes remaining, Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. Rice puts the ball in, Havertz went up, missed it, and Leverkusen clear again, and now they'll try and break. Here's Grimaldo, up to Tillman, breaks again for Alejandro Grimaldo, who spotted the run of Poku, and it's good tracking back though from Martinelli to cut it out just in time.
Yeah, good defensive play from Martinelli, just make sure he gets himself into that left back position.
Rice fires it forward, he spotted the run of Kai Havertz, who is in an offside position, although Havertz hasn't actually touched the ball yet. Could have left that and allowed Madueke to have it, but the linesman put his flag up. And here comes the Arsenal change then, and a couple of changes too for Leverkusen. The first one sees Fernandes come on, and Palacios come off. He's been brilliant in the centre of the park for Leverkusen all evening.
Yeah, him and
Palacios
Garcia have been very, very good in that centre midfield position, done their job defensively really well, look very good in possession as well, just a like for like. Fernandes just come and slot in next to Garcia.
Terrier, the other man that's going off for Hoffman, to try and shore things up. He was originally left out of the Leverkusen Champions League squad in the league phase, Hoffman, but in it now, and he's a very experienced player. And Gabriel Jesus has also come on for Eberechi Eze. So Eze is off and Jesus goes on. Let's see how that changes the way Arsenal are lining up.
Yeah, I think what happened is obviously Jesus will go up front. Kai Havertz probably drop that little bit deeper, playing the 10 position. And from Leverkusen's point of view, Kasper Heumann, the Leverkusen manager, just putting fresh legs on, because obviously they got this 1-0 lead, which they were, happy to defend, and just sort of sitting deeper and deeper.
Arsenal give away a pretty cheap free kick. William Saliba pulling the shirt of the forward, and the referee just bringing him over, having a word with him. Still look frustrated. It was Saliba again on Kafane, just pulling his shirt. It is a foul.
Yeah, it's a foul. Well, Kafane does really well, because he wraps his left arm around Saliba first, so he stops him getting to the ball, and then Saliba just grabs hold of his shirt and pulls it. The referee, that's the angle that he can see. So it's a free kick for Leverkusen out on their left-hand side.
Arsenal need to be organised for this. And it comes towards the back post, and out it goes for a goal kick. Piero Hincapié that time was marshalling Andrich, who scored in the first minute of this second half with a header from a set piece. Out it goes then to Declan Rice on the edge of his own box, square to Saliba. Arsenal have got Havertz on now, they've got Jesus on, they've got Madueke. Can they test Blažević, because he's been really good, he's commanded his penalty area, but he's not had to make too many saves.
No, I can't remember him having a shot to save in the second half, so he's been very good from crosses and corners that are coming into the 6-yard box.
Gabriel Martinelli drives to the byline, gets in a good looking delivery, and it's headed over and behind for a goal kick. Jurrien Timber.
Good play from Martinelli again, just going on the outside of Konza, getting to the byline, just standing the ball up. And then what you want, you want it reversed, because Jurrien Timber comes in, you want Kai Havertz coming in from the far post, and Jurrien Timber going into the near post, and it's Timber coming into the far post, can't get himself over the top of the ball, heads it over Blaževic's crossbar. But better, Martinelli has actually been Arsenal's best attacking player in the second half. In the first half, getting a bit frustrated, just cutting inside, but in the second half he's gone on the outside of the defender 3 times and got 3 crosses in.
Havertz can't get the ball under control, and Jesus will press Blažević. He fires it downfield on the halfway line. Saliba wins the header up against Kafane. Grimaldo though wins the second header, puts it back into the area where Saliba was with Kafane, and the referee over, this time giving the free kick to Saliba against Kafane, much to the annoyance and the derision of the crowd here in the Bay Arena, who raise their voices to show the referee what they think of that.
Yeah, but to be fair to Kafane, he's been really good, he's Saliba and Gabriel, one of the best, if not the best centre-half pairings in the world, and he's made sure that he's given them a really difficult evening.
Madueke now. He's got 2 players in front of them, Tillman and Grimaldo. And that's been the problem for Arsenal all evening. Their wide players have come up against two Leverkusen players every time they've tried to run into those channels, and Arsenal haven't been able to create anything down the centre. Martinelli now up against Poku. Back in field to Rice, edge of the penalty area. Rice fires it into the box. Not sure if that was a shot, if he was just trying to whip it into a dangerous area. 5 minutes remaining. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0.
Yeah, it's just Leverkusen just starting to sit a little bit deeper. Obviously they want to hold on to the 1-0 lead, which they thoroughly deserve in this second half. That's whether Arsenal can have that little bit of ingenuity, that little bit of craft as they sit a bit deeper. It's all very congested.
Madueke goes past his man, runs in between the two defenders into the penalty area, goes down, referee points to the spot. Penalty for Arsenal.
Brilliant play from Madueke. We said there, we just needed that little bit of insulation in the wide areas. Andrich, the Leverkusen captain, to come over to the referee. Obviously there'll be a VAR check, but it's really good play from Madueke. Gets the ball out, goes past Tillman, just goes to cut inside in. Tillman then slides in. Referee points straight to the penalty spot, and you just see, I think it's Madueke's left foot that just hits the boot of Tillman.
He did well to run in between the two players, didn't he? That's what they've not managed to do all evening. They've been blocked off with him, but he put the ball in between them, ran in between them, down in the box. Looking at some of the replays, there's not that much contact, Perry Grant.
Yeah, what it is, I think it's Tillman's left foot that just catches Madueke. So there's going to be a VAR check because, as you say, there wasn't a lot of contact. Now it's whether they think how high the bar is, whether they think that that's a clear and obvious error, whether they're going to ask the referee, Mr. Melia, to come and have a look at it.
He's still pointing to the spot. Check over. Penalty for Arsenal then.
Yeah, I think it's if you're a Bayer Leverkusen fan, you'd say that was very, very harsh. But you say Madueke just gets the wrong side of Tillman. You see, it's actually Tillman's sort of right cheek of his bottom that catches Madueke as he slides in. And say there is contact there, and it's not a dive from Madueke because if there's contact, it actually knocks him off balance.
Yeah, you're right. He almost kind of sits on the back of his heel. I don't think he meant to do it. He meant to try and challenge him, but Arsenal have a penalty then, trailing by 0-0, and look who stepped up to take it. Kai Havertz.
Big pressure penalty from Kai Havertz.
Welcome to listeners from TalkSport. Arsenal trailing by 0-0, but they have a penalty. 87 minutes played, and the man that's stepping up to take it is the former boyhood Bayer Leverkusen player, Kai Havertz. Referee just making sure that Blaswich stays on his line. Kai Havertz against his former side, and he's only just come on. He's played a lot of football this season for Arsenal. Saka not on the pitch. It will be Havertz, and Arsenal haven't looked like they're going to be able to break down this Leverkusen side. This is a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card for them. Can they take it? Plays on the edge of the box. Kai Havertz looks calm, hands on his hips. Referee blows the whistle then. Up steps the German. Kai Havertz to level things up, and he does! The goalkeeper went the right way, but there was enough power on it from Kai Havertz to put it in the bottom corner. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1.
Kai Havertz, I think he had a little sigh of relief there because he tries to make it goalkeeper dependent where he looks at Blaswich. Blaswich doesn't commit himself. Kai Havertz has a little run up, then with his left foot he just puts it low down to Blaswich's right hand side. Blaswich guesses the right way, but it's a really cool penalty for Kai Havertz. You have to say that's probably got Arsenal out of jail here this evening against Bayer Leverkusen to get themselves back in it at 1-1.
Madueke won the penalty, Kai Havertz finished the penalty. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1. Coverage continues here. Final moments on TalkSport 2. As you say, Perry Groves, he just waited, didn't he, Havertz, to watch the goalkeeper go. Nearly saved by the goalkeeper. He didn't celebrate either against his former club.
No, but I think he was just relieved because he realised that obviously Blaswich didn't commit himself, and it's amazing you see the modern day player now, they actually look at the goalkeeper rather than looking at the ball, and they're waiting for the goalkeeper to move, and Blaswich didn't move. To be fair to Havertz, he just kept his cool, and it was the pace of the penalty that actually ends up getting in the back of the net.
2 goals and 2 Champions League appearances this season then for Kai Havertz, who's been limited with game time in this competition and all season for Arsenal, as we've hit the 90 minutes. 3 minutes then of injury time on the end of this 90, and that's the thing about football, isn't it? Leverkusen played really well here at home against Arsenal, who were perfect in the league phase. They did excellently. One moment, Arsenal get a penalty, and now the tie is looking favourable for the Gunners.
Well, as I say, Bayer Leverkusen have been the better side in the second half. Had a little bit more energy, more spring in their step. Arsenal fell asleep, obviously, at the kick-off, when it was Terry had the first header after about a minute, and then they switched off from the kick-off, and then switched off from the corner. Andrich, free header at the far post, put Leverkusen up 1-0 up on the 46th minute. And then Arsenal had possession, but didn't really, apart from Martinelli on the left-hand side, where he was going outside Ponza a couple of times. Then you bring on, that's the beauty of Arsenal's bench. You bring on Madueke, Arteta, to obviously taking his captain Bukayo Saka off. It didn't really happen for him, and Madueke gets brought down for the penalty.
We've played 1 minute then of the 3 additional on the end of this 90. Jurrien Timber as well to shield it out for a goal kick for Ryan. I think Arsenal will be feeling pretty grateful just to get out of here. 1-1, go back to the Emirates. That's what finishing top of the league phase got them, this on paper favourable draw, but also the second leg at home, and that could be really important for Arsenal.
Yep, obviously that is a reward, for winning 8 out of 8. And Mikel Arteta will realise, he'll say, obviously he's proud of his team, quite rightly so, going 1-0 down, not at their free-flowing best by any means. A little bit clunky flow, to be fair, wasn't it, like when they're in possession? But you have to find a way, and that's what happens. You're two, they call them impactors now, don't they?
And well, Arsenal have just got a rather cheap corner right at the end of this game. We've got 60 seconds left. Throw in, came in, Leverkusen player headed it, kind of awkwardly went out. Kai Havertz allowing it to go out. Over comes Declan Rice, brushes his locks out of his hair, out of his face, prepares to take this corner then. Can Arsenal snatch it?
Are they curtains? Are they long enough to be curtains?
Yeah, maybe. It's a bit like Leonardo DiCaprio, wasn't it, back in the 90s with the kind of curtain hair. Bit of pushing and shoving in the penalty area. And this would feel very harsh on Leverkusen if Arsenal nicked it, and we know how dangerous Arsenal are from set pieces, particularly in that round. Declan Rice is whipping them in, he's so good at it. Havertz being held, and the referee, in fact, is going to stop and give a yellow card. So who's he giving this yellow card
Well, it's
to?
Grimaldo and Havertz. Havertz, he's in. Why is he booked Kai Havertz? Kai Havertz hasn't done anything. Grimaldo's got his arms around him. Havertz hasn't moved, and he gets booked. That's one of the most ridiculous bookings that I've seen, because it's Grimaldo who's actually got his arms around Kai Havertz.
So Arsenal get the chance to take the corner again. Declan Rice whips it in. Good looking corner. The header from Jesus off the line. And the referee. What's going on now? The referee's seen something he doesn't like. And it's been given as a free kick. The referee handled that all a little bit strangely, Harry
I think the referee's gone into, I've seen something you haven't seen. It was a brilliant actually delivery from Declan Rice from that left-hand side. Looks like Jesus got the free header at the far post.
And the free kick goes downfield, and that then is the game. Arsenal managed to come away from the Bay Arena with the score level. First half, Arsenal looked pretty decent, controlled lots of it, had lots of the ball, hit the crossbar through Martinelli. Second half, Arsenal came out sleeping. They were punished from a set piece. Corner came in, Andrich at the back post, unmarked, nodded it in for Leverkusen. After that, the German side really controlled the game. Arsenal struggled to break them down. Mikel Arteta brought on players like Madueke, Havertz and Gabriel Jesus, and it was two of the substitutes that made the difference. Madueke driving into the penalty area, down under a challenge, won the penalty. Up stepped Kai Havertz, the former Bayer Leverkusen boy, to strike and score from the penalty spot to level things up. Full-time score here then. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1.
Flo, thanks very much. Perry Groves, Arsenal title winner. We need to talk about some key incidents in that game. A game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sport, the home of European football. First of all, we'll talk about the penalty. Good to see Tom Daley on the right wing for Arsenal. And actually, I think most people are saying on social media that's a massive dive. However, I am going to defend Noni Madueke here, Perry, and say that when he came on, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was way better than Saka had been for an hour. And he drove into the box, and maybe he earned the right to go down easy for the penalty, which produced the equaliser.
Hey, it wasn't a dive. It might be a soft penalty because as he cuts inside Tillman then slides, much a sliding tackle. There's a little bit of coming together, and if you look on the replays, I think it's Tillman's right bum cheek that actually catches Madueke, and it knocks him off balance. So it's not a dive. You could say it's soft. I was thinking, our VAR going to have a look at it, but it's one of those ones where you say it's not a, horrendous decision. Whereas if it wasn't given, you wouldn't be sort of going mad at referees saying, it's a 100% penalty. So Arsenal got a little bit lucky, but it definitely isn't a dive.
Well, I think most people listening to this are saying, come on, Perry. But where I agree with you is
most non-Arsenal fans.
Stupid going to ground in the box from the Bayer Leverkusen defender. I think we'll agree to disagree. I think it's pretty clear he can keep his feet. But listen, he went down. They're never going to overturn that with VAR, and Havertz slots it home. What went wrong for the corner that led to the Leverkusen goal? Because it's rare that Arsenal get done from corners. Eze ended up on the floor, so was it his fault?
Yeah, because he was marking Andrich, who ends up getting the free head at the far post. It started before that. What's the kickoff from Leverkusen? I don't know if there's like a kickoff specialist now, because Arsenal fell asleep from the kickoff. It normally goes back to the goalkeeper, so Arsenal expect to go back to Blažević. Leverkusen just played through him, got across him from the left-hand side. Terrier got a free header, which David Raya then tips over the crossbar. Then you think, Arsenal got away with one. And then they go asleep from the corner and say it's Eze who slips over. Andrich has a free header at the far post, heads it down. Leverkusen go 1-0 up. And you have to say, Leverkusen were the better side in the second half. The first half was sort of fairly even. Arsenal just looked like they lacked a bit of energy, lacked sort of half a yard to yard, when on the closing down, when Leverkusen in possession, it was Palacios and Garcia, getting themselves on the ball. And Arsenal just looked a little bit laboured. But then what you have to do, if you're Mikel Arteta, you have to find a way of getting your team back into the tie. And that's what he did. He was brave enough. He took Bukayo Saka off. It wasn't his night on the right-hand side. Madueke came on. He always looks really good 1v1s. Martinelli started to go on the outside of Kwanzaa on the left-hand side, 1v1. And then Leverkusen sat a little bit deep. And then you want your impactors, they're called today, don't they? So you want the players you put on to have an impact. Madueke gets put down for the penalty. And Kai Havertz, it was a really cool penalty. When you watch the replay again, Aid, the Monday player, it gives me palpitations when they look at the goalkeeper. They look at the goalkeeper as they're running up. They don't look at the ball. Honestly, you look at it. So Havertz thinks that Blažević is going to move. Blažević doesn't move. It's like minutes stare at goats. Then Havertz thinks, right, I've got to stick it low down so the goalkeeper's right. Blažević guesses right, but it's the pace of the ball that gets it into the back of the net. And you have to say, Aid, on the performance as a whole, Arsenal probably got away with one there because they were nowhere near at their best. But when you're not at your best, you have to find a way to make sure you don't lose the tie.
No, I was going to come to that in a moment. I do want to say, first of all, there is a job for me in football at last, and that is kickoff coach. Never mind set-piece coach, throwing coach. I'm going to be the kickoff coach, and I'm going to get myself a mural on the underpass on the Hornsey Road. So just stand by, watch this space. You heard it here first. What I will say is I don't think Arsenal were great. Doesn't really matter because it's over two legs and they're completely in the tie at 1-1. They had two shots on target, one of which was the penalty. This is not authentic, proper, brilliant Arsenal at the moment, but they're still digging out results, Perry, sometimes digging out wins when they're not playing particularly great. It's got to be a good sign.
It has to be. That's what you have to do. It's professional sport, and I'm watching this Arsenal side, and I know there's probably another 2 or 3 levels that they can get to. I think sometimes it's a little bit controlled in possession where it's called the horseshoe. You go from the left and you go back into middle, out to the right and then back again. Need to play through the lines maybe a little bit quicker. But I said the thing that stood out for me, Aid, in the second half, Arsenal are normally very, very good out of possession. When they drop into the 4-2, but they go and engage. They go and put the opposition under pressure. They go and close down, and they just look like they didn't have that sort of half a yard of sharpness. But I have to say, up front for Leverkusen, Kafane was really good. He made sure that he had a battle with Saliba and Gabriel. He was always good on the counter-attack. He held the ball up really well. So as I say, when you're nowhere near, Arsenal probably were at about 60% of where they can be. And Leverkusen dropped a little bit deep, which you're going to do, Aid, when you're 1-0 up, because it would have been a brilliant result for Leverkusen. So they can feel a little bit hard done by. And from Arsenal's point of view, it's like, no, we didn't play nowhere near the standards that we have. We've got out of there with a 1-1 draw. We'll see you at the Emirates next week.
Going to get you to do man of matches in a second. I need a really quick answer, Perry Groves. Eze was at fault for a goal at Villa and got put in what we call Arteta jail. He didn't start games for a long time. He's out of favour, basically, even when the number 10s, Odegaard, was injured, and he put Saka at 10, then Havertz came back and Havertz went to 10. He's now been at fault for this goal tonight. Is he going to go back into Arteta jail, do you reckon?
I think he had Kinski's boots on from last. I think he had the roller skates on, because he did. That's what he did. He slipped over. So on this one, I think with Arteta, with the one you talked about with Matty Cash, where he loses him at the far post, and he got the hook at half time, didn't he? He went, "You don't do." He wasn't trying to not do his defensive duty. He got hooked out
tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, but to be fair, you have to make changes. He tried to get himself on the ball. It wasn't that he didn't put any effort in, or he didn't try and make things happen. But say Arsenal just a little bit clunky.
OK, well, we'll see what happens to Eze in the near future. Finished by Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1. Time now to pick out man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
So Perry Groves, Arsenal title winner, who are you going for?
Well, it's going to have to be by a Leverkusen player, because they were the better team in the second half. I thought the two midfield players were excellent, Palacios and Garcia, to get themselves on board and pass it. But I'm going to give it to their captain Andrich, because he was bang under pressure. He got booked in the first 2 minutes where he pulled down Gyökeres, and when your centre-half and your captain gets booked, you think this is going to be a long 88 minutes. And Arsenal didn't get the ball into Gyökeres, but when the ball came into the box, Andrich made sure he got his head on it. You need leaders. It's exactly what he was for Bayer Leverkusen, and he comes up with the priceless goal where Eze slips and he just spins around the back of him, gets the header in, puts them 1-0 up. So I think because he was under so much pressure from the second minute, he scores and he shows those leadership qualities. I'm going to give it to the captain of Bayer Leverkusen, Andrich.
Listen, Perry, love you. Thank you very much. Definitely a dive. That was our man of the match here for it hero with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
So finished by Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1. Coming up on TalkSport 2, PSG against Chelsea. Coming up on TalkSport live from Madrid, it's Real Madrid against Manchester City.
Kickoff, king of football commentary. Kickoff, live on TalkSport 2.
They're under starters' orders and they're off to the Cheltenham Festival on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
All the atmosphere direct from one of the highlights of the British racing calendar.
With over 50 hours of spectacularly live coverage throughout the week. Hear all 28 races live. Here we go! TalkSport Superstar Breakfast, live from Cheltenham.
What a numpty.
Hawksby and Jacobs.
The odds-on favourite in the afternoon.
Live from the festival.
Don't touch that dial.
That's right.
Never mind the Fredlocks.
The Cheltenham Week Extravaganza.
Throughout the week, live from Cheltenham on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
On DAB+, online via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker.
Kickoff, live. Slide tackling, spontaneous football and fury.
Get stuck in the thoroughly world-famous Kickoff. Readily discursive and totally immersive.
Award-winning live football commentary. Kickoff, live on TalkSport 2.
The Champions League is back on the TalkSport network, and after last night's drama, there's much more to come this evening. In Paris, we've got the European champions against the world champions. PSG out for revenge, Chelsea out to secure a first leg lead in the round of 16. The whole game is live and in full right here on TalkSport 2.
PSG
remarkable tonight. They've won by 5 goals to 0, and they are finally European champions.
This PSG team shows that it's not just a sum of individuals. However, this team built as a team where every component is part of the team.
That's it! Chelsea are the world champions, and they have absolutely hammered Paris Saint-Germain, the Champions League winners, by 3 goals to 0.
I was in my front room, and it was a great game. You know, 2 fantastic teams. It was an outstanding performance from the guys on the day. But in terms of the relevance for now, I don't think it has much relevance. The context is completely different.
Chelsea need to be playing Champions League football next season. You know, I don't think they'll win the Champions League this season. I think they'll probably go out to PSG.
Chelsea can't lose this game. They can't, because it heaps pressure on them.
Onto his right foot, he shoots and seals it for Chelsea. João Pedro rolls it home.
Could they win it? Absolutely, absolutely could win it. 100% they could win it.
It's the most wide open Champions League for years.
Full throttle, high energy, non-stop action, and this is why we love the Champions League. Yes, here we go. The Champions League is back on TalkSport and right here on TalkSport 2. We've got the European champions in one corner of the famous Parc des Princes, PSG, who beat Inter in the final last season, and Chelsea, the world champions, who hammered PSG in the Club World Cup final in July. Tonight they renew acquaintances beneath the floodlights, and the whole game is live and in full with us. We'll bring you the team news in just a moment. Quick though, first of all, a word with the former Chelsea striker Tony Cascarino. Cas, good evening to you.
Evening, Joe. Really looking forward to this.
Well, tell me why this game is going to sparkle. A lot of attacking talent on the field.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of attacking talent, as you said, Joe. Look, Pedro's been on fire. We talked about that with Adrian. You got Palmer back into the team. I think he's a player that's suddenly shown the signs of what we saw in the previous season. Fernandes, love him. Enzo Fernandes has been outstanding for Chelsea this year. And also Pedro Neto, on his day, can cause any defender in the world any issues. And then you look at Barcola, Dembele and Doué as a front three, all pace, a lot of technical ability there. And Dembele's had a straight season, Joe. He really hasn't got going. He's been in and out of the team, and yes, he's had injuries. He's not quite got going. I mean, there was a period last season he had like 10 games, he got 18 goals. And this year he's got 8 league goals. Paris as a side, PSG, not got to the levels where they expect them to get to.
Okay, much more from Tony Cascarino alongside myself, Joe Shannon, very shortly, and we'll bring you that team news in full. First, let's get the latest odds now from William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
And Lee Phelps is with us on TalkSport 2. Lee, this is a really eye-catching tie. How do the bookies see it playing out?
Yeah, you're not kidding. It looks a fantastic one, doesn't it? We've got a couple of big boosts on the game tonight, by the way. Erling Haaland to score at any time. 6-4 was odds on 4-6. Impact sub applies there as well. So if Haaland goes off without scoring, the man replacing him carries on your bet. And on this one, it's PSG to score in the first half. Even money from 8-13. And all this is coming after and I hate to say it, I know you're not going to get the violins out for us, but the punters have had a bad day today. It's been a great day at Cheltenham for the bookies. Day one went the way of the punters. We turned over, for the punters, over $1 million. But today we've had it back, so we're wondering if we're going to get stung on the football tonight. The draw in the Arsenal game, good result for us. In this one, PSG, you won't be surprised to know, odds on 19-20. They touched even money, which I thought was a good price about them. Like you said, with the attacking talent on show. The draw 13-5. Chelsea are priced up at 13-5. Personally, I think the best we can hope for here is a draw, but I think both teams will score. I mean, it's heavy odds on that both teams do score, and I think they will. It seems a pretty obvious way to go in, but if you add that to the likes of PSG winning with both teams getting on the score sheet, it turns their pricing to 2-1, which I think is decent. All the usual quality players up front for PSG. If you're looking for a Chelsea goal scorer, I guess you're not going to look much further than the man who can create out of more or less nothing. That's Paul Palmer. 17-10 to score at any time, 5-1 to score first, João Pedro, of course, has been one of their stars of the season. 2-1 to get a goal any time, and the first goal 11-2. But for me, I'm going to stick with that bet I said. I know it's a little bit unpatriotic, and we want Chelsea to win, but from a pure betting point of view, PSG to win and both teams to score at 2-1 is the way I'm going in.
OK, thanks, Lee. That was an odds update, all thanks to William Hill, where you can get 2 epic boosts every day of the Cheltenham Festival. Singles only, terms and conditions apply, 18 plus only, gambleaware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill, 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Quite the light show going on here tonight at the Parc des Princes, southwest of the French capital, in the 16th arrondissement. It's directly opposite the Stade Jean Bouin, the home of Paris FC. This area is the home of football in the French capital, no doubt about it. The Paris Saint-Germain team, Safonov is the goalkeeper, having displaced Chevalier of late. Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Nuno Mendes in the back four. Zaire Emery, Vitinha and João Neves. Doué, Barcola and Dembele are the front three. And for Chelsea, Philip Jurgensen is in goal. 10 changes for Chelsea, by the way, from the weekend. Only Pedro Neto survives. Gusto, Chalobah, Fofana and Cucurella at the back. James and Caicedo holding. Palmer, Enzo Fernandez and Neto behind João Pedro up front. Kickoff is just over 5 minutes away here on TalkSport 2 as the build-up continues. It is the last 16 of the UEFA Champions League. First leg is on the way very shortly, but let's hear from Chelsea's manager, Liam Rosenior. He was in charge of Strasbourg when the Blues beat PSG to win the Club World Cup back in July, and he has discussed the managerial pedigree of his counterpart, Luis Enrique.
This squad, every position is a difficult decision. That's how it has to be for us to be successful. We have a fantastic squad full of top players. And not even just the starting 11, making a decision who's on the bench is difficult. That's the job that I'm here to do. We'll make that decision in terms of the goalkeeping position, in terms of the number 9 or number 10 or number 7 position. And I've said before, for me, the goalkeeper position is no different to an outfield position. I will pick what I think is the right choice for each game. I don't have too big an ego to say that I don't look at other coaches that I respect and appreciate and take things from them and put it into my own way of thinking, my own way of playing. I'll be very honest, I said this last year. I showed the Strasbourg players clips of PSG last year, their intensity, the way that they ran and pressed the ball, because they were magnificent in that time. For me, football, I want to win. Trust me, I want to win tomorrow, but you can show respect in many ways as a coach, and I think the biggest mark of respect as a coach is when other coaches look at your game and say, I like what you do. And it's been nice because it started to happen to me, and I think that's what football's about.
Yeah, that's the Chelsea boss, Liam Rosenior. Quite a spectacular light show continuing here at the Parc des Princes. They've got plumes of flame shooting up into the air, fireworks now as well, and we're still yet to see the two sets of players take to the field of play. Tony Cascarino is with me tonight for commentary on TalkSport 2. Tony, what have you made of Liam Rosenior so far? In charge for just over 2 months at Chelsea. What's his impact been like?
Impressive, Joe. It really has. I mean, I've been at a couple of press conferences with Liam, listening to him. He communicates really well. I'm led to believe that he also does with the players, his club, and makes it very clear what he expects from them. And there will be changes, and they've built a squad, and that squad needs to be utilised because they've played a lot of football. And we talked about the Club World Cup in the summer. Both teams are in the final. They've had to manage their seasons, and that's what Rosenior's talking about. And what we saw at Wrexham, and then we come to tonight's game, and there's been 10 changes in the lineup. So that's what he's doing, managing his group, which he's done really, really well.
Here come the two teams out onto the field of play here in Paris. Kickoff just moments away on TalkSport 2. Paris Saint-Germain led by Marquinhos, the Champions League holders, of course, after that memorable 5-0 victory over Inter Milan in the final last season. Chelsea have joined them. Chelsea in a change kit tonight of all white, and in just a few moments the Champions League anthem is going to be ringing around this famous stadium. Quite the atmosphere ahead of PSG against Chelsea, live and in full here on TalkSport 2. PSG, Cass, maybe not the force that they were last season, or certainly in the year of 2025.
No, they've had a little bit of a drop-off, and that's shown in the French league. They're leading at the moment, but only just. Performances and players injured, Joe. You can't carry a whole squad full of players and expect 60 plus games in the season not having some consequence. And look, I'm looking at this lineup and I'm looking at the players, and you can tell there's an edge on this game. This is the Club World Cup final being played as a Champions League game now. You got the better of us in the summer. That's what PSG players will be thinking. Now it's our turn. You're on our turf to try and get a result.
They want revenge tonight, do PSG. The two teams shaking hands on the halfway line. Chelsea emerge holding on to the club pennant is the captain, Reece James. João Pedro tonight, Cass, how key is he to everything that Chelsea do? Because at the moment, in terms of goals, everything goes through him.
Yeah, well, he's got they've got a savvy old player at the heart of the defence, Marquinhos, who hasn't played regularly of late, Joe. But for me, he's the leader. He's the player at the heart of the defence that guides and leads, and just that experience. João Pedro tonight, because he's such a clever player, he'll drop off, he'll run into spaces, people will join him. He does that really well. But he's absolutely brimming with confidence. We know from what we've seen in recent weeks of how well he's played, the number of goals he's got. So lots to look forward to.
Chelsea all in white tonight with red trim, and PSG all in black with yellow trim. The two teams are having their photos taken at the moment. 2,000 Chelsea fans have made the trip, including the Gillingham supporters branch.
The Gillingham supporters club of Chelsea fans, yeah, really, really good. As you're seeing, Reece James and Marquinhos, shaking hands on the halfway line. And the noise is always, I've been fortunate, Joe, over the years to be in PSG Stadium.
Yeah.
Obviously, I lived in Paris for a couple of years after I left Marseille, and went to a number of games, and it's pretty electric, and it's exactly that tonight.
Well, this is a rematch between two clubs who may be establishing an enduring rivalry. The European champions meet the world champions in Paris 8 months after Chelsea's amazing win on that tempestuous day in New Jersey in the final of the Club World Cup. PSG don't have the relative air of invincibility they had for so much of 2025, but an ability to find consistently great performances continues to elude Chelsea. And as we've already seen this week in Bergamo and Madrid, you can certainly lose a two-legged tie in the first game, so any sort of positive result to take back to the bridge would surely be welcome for Liam Rosenior. And Chelsea are doing what they have done in recent days. The team huddle is taking place right over the middle of the centre spot. Whether it's designed to intimidate or do something else, I'm not too sure, but this is the routine that Chelsea have gone through, Tony.
Yeah, they're into their mindset, and I think this is going to... The reason why I'm so looking forward to this match is not it's just two teams, it's two young sides as well. A lot of young players in both set of squads. So, and look at the keepers. The keeper situation at Paris. They got rid of Donnarumma, and they've now changed, and they're on to their second game. Samanoffa's got the nod tonight, but it's got to be tested. It really has.
So it's PSG all in black with yellow trim, Chelsea all in white with red trim, and after all the talk and all the build-up, the game is ready to begin. It is the round of 16 in the Champions League, and PSG are going to blast the ball forward straight from kickoff, almost NFL style, to win some territory, and it's a Chelsea throw. Chelsea playing from right to left in the left-back position, and Marc Cucurella will come across to take it.
Well, it's quite a funny scenario, isn't it? Cucurella knows he's going to be the first Chelsea player to handle the ball, because PSG do this week in, week out, kick the ball out of play as a starting place.
It's like aiming for touch, isn't it? As Marquinhos gets across and swoops the ball upfield, but he's carried it out of play on this carpet-like surface, and it will be a throw again to Chelsea, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. We'll keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in around the grounds, around the country tonight. After we brought you Bayer Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1 on TalkSport 2 earlier. They are underway in Madrid, live on TalkSport for Real Madrid against Manchester City, and the score is 0-0. Chelsea have possession with Cole Palmer looking to wriggle forward to the halfway line, dispossessed in the middle of midfield.
He had a shot on or off target, but that's the closest we've come to a really good opportunity so far.
Here's Rodri. Another ball play back for Ruben Dias. Gay peels away to his left-hand side. City eliminated by Real in each of the last 2 seasons. Lost home and away in the playoff round to Real Madrid last year, where they just didn't do themselves justice. They led in the home leg, the first leg of that tie. 2-1 with 6 minutes to go, and ended up losing it. Few surprised then when they lost the second leg. 12 months on, though, the constant development of the Manchester City side has gone on 3 or 4 further stages under Pep. They're unbeaten in 11 coming here. They've won 9 of those. They've only been beaten twice in the last 26 games. It's been much more like Manchester City in the recent past. Brahim Diaz bringing the ball forward now, finding Valverde, wearing 8 for Real Madrid. Trent Alexander sending the ball inside the penalty area. That one is knocked away. Harrison comes to meet it, 10 yards outside the box, edge forward down the left-hand side of the penalty area. And that cross comes in and is very effectively blocked. It was Arda Güler who played it in. Diaz able to get in the way to steer it away. City able to condense the play in the midfield, pushing Rudiger back towards halfway, but still Real Madrid have possession. 0-0 here on TalkSport with 4.5 minutes gone. On the day that Arsenal needed an 89th minute penalty to get a draw in Leverkusen in the early kickoff. And still 0-0 in the other 2 Champions League ties taking place at the moment. Haaland able to bring the ball away now for Manchester City, and motoring forward, head down, running briskly at the Real Madrid